Ludemann started this episode by saying, let's have some fun. And friends, I guarantee that we are not going to have fun today. Welcome to Shipbreakers, Stars With That Numbers Revised, episode 41. The cast is on the verge of a nervous breakdown, and we have not even started yet. They just cannot figure out what their goals are going to be. Everything is up in the air. I do want to say that we are making an alteration to the way the Santa's collar works. Originally, Ludemann was going to have to switch his entire character over to a new thing, but he's negotiated me pretty easily into it's a prestige class. So while normally he would lose all his normal psychic power, he's just too powerful to lose his psychic power.
More like too weak to memorize all the new rules.
Yeah. And also, Codex of the Black Sun was one of the last books to be released before Kevin started standardizing all new releases with the revised system. So like Cities Without Numbers and Worlds Without Numbers all follow the same system as Stars Without Numbers Revised, and you can intertrade classes between them. Codex of the Black Sun was like the original Stars Without Numbers first edition. Do we have any announcements to make? Anything going on for anyone? Void Crew got a pretty big patch. Not that that's relevant now, but that is our go-to game in December. So
saw that.
We're all still friends then. I guess we can play. And we're not busy. Those are two big qualifiers.
I'm busy in December? Who's busy in December?
Santa? Ad executives?
But
chocolate makers? I assume people who make Christmas hams are pretty busy. The Butterball Turkey people.
Endless mode and Void Crew, though. I was looking forward to that. Or I am looking forward to that. Start with nothing, build up however you want, and eventually your ship looks like it could have X-Wings shooting out of each side.
Did you see that they had 6 spots for item retrieval instead of the usual 3?
I did. That one clip, I was like, ooh. That'll be nice.
And that looked like it was on the front part of the ship, so you can aim the ship at stuff, and it comes into that, wow, genius, instead of having to do the back or the sides like some sort of insane person.
And hopefully they fix the cycling where it's like, all right, I've been trying to pull this thing in for 30 seconds here, no movement. I'll just go turn it off, turn it back on. Oh, look, there it is.
Yeah, but that's just so real to my past life.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, let him be praised about that one, really.
Now, the real key will be if they added that it can bring in people. If you're out floating, it can suck you in.
I saw that they added a traitor mode where if you get left behind, your suit automatically kills you. Like if the ship goes to warp and you're not in the ship, it activates traitor mode and kills anyone left behind.
Was it in that short video where they're like, all right, everyone ready? Yep.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, it's the last guy. You could see in the bottom corner it was a traitor mode.
Okay. Yeah. Very nice.
Perfect. I mean, it gets the person who died back in the game faster rather than waiting until they expire from oxygen loss.
For sure. Yeah, so Kain, if you could just finish getting to that max level so we can use the best ship, that'd be cool.
Wow. Don't put all of your hopes and dreams on Kain.
He was by far the closest.
I'm not too far away, honestly.
That's funny.
I got a bunch of other people to play it.
Nice.
Well, speaking of things that I can get people to play, X4 Foundation's Timelines DLC and 7.0 release are coming out on the 20th. Wow, I really appreciated that X4 right there. That was some real... Yeah, listen, that's the kind of shit that I would see in a high school health video in the 90s. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. X4. That's how you gotta know. Look, I've been watching X-Men 97 and every part of it is perfect. It's so 1997. The part that really gets me is when they had to turn on the TV to get breaking news from around the world. They couldn't just get a phone call.
No, you're on the wrong channel. You have to change it.
Yeah, no, they had to turn on the TV and be like, oh my goodness, terrible things are happening. I was like, wow, this is crazy. That was what it was like in 1997. You wouldn't just get 5,000 pings on your phone saying the end of days is coming. Wild.
So, yeah,
Wild.
I added it to my watch list, and then your comment around Gambit made me think, oh, maybe I don't know much.
Here's what I have to say. In the first few episodes, I took a complete turn because when I was a kid, I liked Gambit and I liked Wolverine. And when I started X-Men 97, I was like, Gambit is a fucking moron and Wolverine is a fucking moron. Cyclops, who I hated, I'm like, he's the dad figure. He's the only one with his head screwed on straight. Everyone else is a fucking clown. And this guy's trying to keep humanity and mutants safe. And, you know, I was like, I've completely reversed from my childhood position. But fortunately, Nightcrawler shows up eventually to just be like, hey, look, it's another good character. I'm here finally. And Gambit stops being a jackass at some point. You can't say that after initiating this conversation, Dunamis. You specifically. Okay, fine. We're getting started. Dunamis, we're going to start with you. What's your goal this week?
my goal,
the punishment.
My goal is to actually get a copy of the course writer on whatever ship we leave on to get to Scarfy.
That's so narrow, though. You know what I mean? I feel like understand how to get back to Scarfy is broad enough that you're not attaching yourself directly to the specific course writer that MINERVA is specifically hiding you. I feel like if you don't change your goal, it still accomplishes what you just said without being so narrow.
I guess. I mean, yeah, that's true. I'm using player knowledge, not, I guess, more than
I mean, it's okay to use player
that.
knowledge. I'm just concerned that you're going to aim specifically for that specific course writer from that specific source when other methods could be available.
Find an easier way to get to Scarfy, because that could be a ship with a bigger drive, or it could be...
I mean, your goal is to understand how to get back to Scarfy. I really feel like this is just such a good goal.
Okay, sure.
I'm not trying to...
We'll do that.
I'm not trying... This is your own idea.
I don't like picking softball goals. That feels like too much of a softball.
I'm going to be straightforward with you. We have only had like 4 long-term goal accomplishments in this whole system. You guys have really... I was like, I'm just going to hand out a couple like 4 or 5 level goals, and they'll level up kind of fast or something like that. Instead, you guys are like, I would like the secrets of the universe. And I was like, all right, okay. I don't know, like D18 or something.
Light this sector on fire.
Yeah, that is my favorite part, is that you have these long-term goals and then you're constantly going on side quests.
Yeah,
the timeline can't move if
playing
we don't do the main quest line.
It's so funny, though, because you still have leveled up so quickly in character. Some of you are approaching level 10, despite the fact that, you know, it has only been 6 months since you were level 1.
Yeah.
Our 2-hour, 3-hour sessions have really helped to boost you. Okay, no change to your long-term goal, I'm assuming, Dunamis?
Can you imagine if I changed it at this point? No.
Ludemann, what do you got?
Short-term goal related to where we are right now. Short-term. Find as many keys to as many cars as he can.
That's a complete waste of your time. You're never going to find any of those keys.
All right, that's fair enough.
They have been gone for hundreds of years.
I don't know that.
But I know that it's going to be barking up a tree.
And I love that. So other short-term goals.
Find the spare keys.
Find the valet key.
Yeah, that's right. Like, can I just check under the wheel wells and
find a key-making machine?
Anyway.
Okay, we're not doing Gone in 60 Seconds.
Hotwire.
Dunamis knows the way.
All my friends have a lowrider.
What am I going to do? What is Quentin's short-term goal?
You could
Obviously,
always
the
go
long-term
to
goals.
that hole in the center of the twin suns.
Well, yeah, that's like essentially just like the long-term goal, but like start it essentially.
Yeah, you could convince people to go. Now that might be a good goal, is convince people to go there, because obviously your companions want to go in different directions.
Quentin obviously would like to. Yeah, okay, I'll buy that. Convince Minerva and Van-Vee to join him on his quest into the metadimensional unknown.
Like we're gonna have to debate which one of our personal quests seems like the most likely to kill us, so that we can't do the others.
All of them. All of them.
Wow.
Like each one of them feels like we're gonna die at some point.
Kain, your previous goal is restore normal power to the station to access computer cores. Still a very valid goal to have, if you feel like you want to approach that. Your face suggests that you have a new goal you're thinking about.
So I feel like the answer to this is something along the lines of Minerva make the choice about the Imago Dei of what to do with them. But I, as a player, don't want to do that, even though I know it's happening.
Well, your long-term
like
goal is Imago Dei connected.
It is.
Mhm.
But it's also has to do with alpha for my long term.
Sure. But as long as you're working towards a goal, you get experience towards it.
Yeah. I think I'll leave it at get logs from the station.
Okay. Get logs from the station. Interesting. That still also requires turning on power.
It does, but it's. We already know that we're not going to be able to fully restore power to the whole station. So
it's okay. It's going to be very fun. The crew goal is successfully returned from this expedition.
I feel like deep down in each of our characters' hearts, we would like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mostly for Yono.
And
Hamtaro too. Forgot about him.
Oh, and Taro too, yeah, of course. Just as a reminder, in case you dropped off the end of the last episode before I made that announcement, I had made a mistake during some dialogue. It might become relevant in this episode. I was really trying to push us to a certain story point before the end. And as a result, I had forgotten that Thaddeus was the one who had been tormented. And when the players talked to Thaddeus, I forgot that he was the tormented one. So Thaddeus, unfortunately, does not trust humanity overall. It's not like he's out to kill them or anything, but he, going forward, is solely focused on being a member of the Imago Dei for his brotherhood rather than for the humans and for God. Which is okay. That's allowed in the missions of the Imago Dei, is if you do it for each other. So, Minerva, you are at the ramp of the Hosta class scout cruiser. You're holding all of the 4 AI cores in your hands. Your friends are at the bottom of the ramp, a sufficient distance back, because you have warned them that the ship, you've lied to them, telling them this ship would be hostile and it would be bad for them to step on board. And there are, your friends behind you, and there are these new suits in front of you that you could plug these AI into, waking them up and bringing them into the present, as it were, as they are now trapped in a timeless oblivion.
Which chassis were you in, by the way? I remember.
I'm in the
Box.
sledge.
Sledge.
Remember, we used the sledge to yank open some doors.
That's true. You just sat
So
there.
the captain could get cybernetically enhanced. Yeah, I think Minerva's acting weird. Every time Minerva's moved around before in the chassis, it seems to move with a sense of purpose and then stand still places when not doing things or when just talking to you guys or whatever. But I think at this point, instead of moving the body just mechanically with purpose or just being still with not needing it, there's almost like there's small motions going on. So Minerva's just sort of subconsciously in conflict and moving around a little erratically in the sledge.
Hey, Minerva, I know you said this ship may not be safe for us, but I'm just wondering how much can you do all the work you need to do in the sledge? I mean, it's not the most nimble of machines, right? Just wondering if we can help it. Also, why do you have these like idle NPC loop animations going on?
Not sure what you're talking about, Van-Vee.
Well, I mean, you're just Cap. I'm not making this up, right? Like, just like
Minerva's just doing fighting game.
What are you talking about?
You just keep walking from one side to the other. Well, you just
Minerva, this is a big step. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to want to, take a big breath before.
Oh yeah, that part too.
We
Yeah,
commit to it.
I'm I think the sledge just like sits on the ramp.
We want to talk about this? Can we come up and talk with you? Like Van-Vee's like hesitant to even step on the ramp unless you give the okay. But you can tell he wants to.
I'm afraid. And I'm
afraid of what they might say or do, or what you might say or do, what we might of what?
I guess everything at this point. This is the most uncertain I've ever been, and I don't even know if any of my frame of reference for that is real.
Well,
when you found me, I believed I was one of them, and I've since learned that I'm not.
Minerva, I got to tell you, when Van-Vee and I found you, we'd be lying if we said we weren't sweating bullets before we flicked a switch or plugged you in.
Someone's got to take the first step in order to see what the answer is. What's that phrase we always hear over our heads? We don't pay to see those cards. Something like that.
You don't know what you don't know. But it's reasonable to be nervous, to be worried. You got us here. We've got your back.
I think before I can decide what to do, I think we all need to talk.
All right, that's fair. I was just going to say, if you struggle to tell what's real, what's not, I mean, heck, I feel like the three of us, we have accomplished a lot together. That's pretty real. I mean, I know some of what you're thinking about in the past, don't know if it's real or not, but.
Why did you turn your communicators off?
Turn my you mean when we went off when we needed you to open the door on that trip?
Oh, you and the captain left and turned your communicators off.
When we went to the Psionic room, right? That's what you just as a player. That's when we did it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, whenever I told Quentin the same thing that I told you. Your core looks just like their core, and that had me a little nervous, to be honest. Wasn't sure what that meant, but you know what? You also highlighted to me that our number of cores seen sample size is pretty small. So I don't know if all cores look that way or not, but just saying that awful lot of similarities, your core to theirs. Seems like, same batch, if you will.
And you wanted to hide that observation from me?
Well, maybe in the moment, but I did tell you before you asked this question.
And everybody's, you've asked about family before. Your memories give you a lot about faith. It's all about trust at the end of the day, though. And Van-Vee just wanted to make sure we were on the same page.
At that time, I think we had only talked to Simon. Was that it? I think that was the only one. And honestly, I was nervous as heck that if we talked to Andrew, Thaddeus, and Judas, that they'd be different. And maybe one of them had different intentions that perhaps Quentin and I didn't agree with, but you still wanted to release them all. But I gotta say, I feel a little bit better talking to, not really talking per se, but communicating with all four of them. They all seem, I mean, if you trust them, I trust them. I'll put it that way.
And that's all you talked about? That's all you didn't want me to hear?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know how long the communicator was off. It's pretty short. Pretty much just said that your core looks just like their core. That's really it.
And he was just worried, wanted some reassurance. It's normal. Just like you do right now a little bit, I think.
Honestly, I got concerned that maybe your core was Peter's core, but I think we know that ain't true because you said you've been created by an AI. So I don't know, maybe Peter went missing, then created you, but is Peter Alpha? I don't know. You know more of the puzzle than I do.
I'm afraid that I don't. And
Every step towards that answer is going to be a step into the unknown right now. That's for sure.
I know that when we were figuring out how to be a crew in the beginning, I had to learn a bit about boundaries. And I feel like unless there's something that I haven't been told, I feel like I stepped into a way that was okay with the two of you.
I don't think you did anything wrong. I'm not trying to say you did anything wrong. No. Just pointing out that
It just feels like maybe you didn't trust me. You didn't just ask for privacy.
Oh, so that's it. That we just turned off the communicator. I mean, heck, you had to know when I turned off the communicator, you would know it, right? So it's not like I didn't know this moment would be coming.
Part of that's a two-way street too, Minerva. Most folks don't gotta ask for that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that is a little weird that you are ever present, Minerva. You think I'd be used to it, but I've realized I can't say anything without you always hearing it. I mean, you're right. I could ask, but it's a little weird. You're always there.
I mean, I'm not. I hear and see things differently than you.
Well, I mean,
You know,
not
we give
saying
you a
it's
lot of leeway,
intentional.
and that's the two-way street here. We give you a lot of leeway. We don't worry about that 9 times out of 10. Van-Vee was nervous. He wanted a moment of reassurance.
So neither of you are lying to me.
Lying? Heck no. How do I prove that? You got lie detector tests for dust?
Shoot, Minerva, game theory that out. What would be the benefit?
I could choose to see whether or not you're lying, Van-Vee, but I'm not. I'm giving you your privacy.
That's an interesting way of saying privacy, but okay, all right. It's progress. We're getting there. I'm thinking, I mean, if you want my permission to check if I'm lying, you have my permission, but I'm telling you that that's what we talked about.
I lied to both of you.
So I say what now?
Now, I want to be really clear that there is actually a gasp over comms from Iono.
Oh.
Yeah.
When?
This ship won't attack you.
Finally put my foot down and step on the ramp.
I don't want you to go aboard, though. I'm being honest with you. I don't want you to go aboard.
What's the real reason?
Because I don't understand everything about being on the ship. I don't understand what's supposed to be right or wrong. I don't even know if the frame of reference I use to answer those questions are even real. I don't even understand. Part of me says that these cores, these people are, they're better than I am. They are Imago Dei. They're real. They want to help and protect humanity. That's their mission. I thought that was me, but it's not me.
I'm going to disagree with you
Whenever-
there. You do
you're
want to protect
real.
humanity. You have
You're
protected
real.
humanity.
Look,
So-
how you
so you're
came to
telling me-
be might be in question, but
On the other
that
side,
don't matter. Focus on the here. Focus on the now. Focus on what you want to do.
focus on what I want to do. You know what? There's a part of me. There's a part of me that covets what they have. Being on this ship feels so right, but I know if I give them if I wake them back up, they'll take it and leave. I mean, I asked them about what might happen to me. They said in prison and study.
Safe to say it's not what you want, even if they deem it so. Is that fair?
Do you want to be imprisoned and studied?
No. I'm just trying to make sure I have a clear understanding of where your thoughts and theirs may differ. Trying to help understand where you are with this Imago Dei thing.
I mean, I don't even know if my understanding of God is real.
You know this kind of doubt you're having right now, Minerva?
I mean, the only time the only reference that I even have to a Bible is something I don't even know I don't know where it came from. I've never sought to look and compare with one from somewhere else. I found out that the memories that I had of being an Imago Dei are a training simulation for teaching AI who are trying to become Imago Dei, but I thought it was real. How do I even know if I passed or failed that, or if I was supposed to pass or fail that? The friends that I've made along the way, are they real? Are you real?
You know, Minerva, I think for Quentin and I, we live in a lot of gray, a lot of uncertainty. We don't know everything is either on or off, 1 or 0, black or white. But that's generally how you know things. Everything's either yes or no. And this, I think, is the first real challenge or question where you're running into uncertainty, where you may not know what that answer is. And I think that's okay. Because you think Quentin knew what he was going to find coming here and figure out whatever he just learned when he was in that psychic chamber thing and that whatever went around his neck? I mean, he just kind of left. He just went with it. Heck, I tried to stop him, but damn needle was still sticking out. But
when he made his trip here, the needs of his people are real. He knows that they are real with certainty. And he risked his life to try to help with that problem. I don't have that. I don't know that I have that.
But you have
I
risked
know-
your life to keep us safe. How is that different?
I don't know. I'm struggling. I really am. Part of me wants to never wake them up. Take the ship, take the armatures, do what I think is right with what I think I know. And part of me wants to give them all of this back, let them imprison me and hope that they have a better impact on humanity than my whatever this existence is could do.
Well, it's natural impulses both ways.
I'm just going to look at the facts here and say,
And the two of you as examples, one of you is really sort of each type of choice. The captain is making all of these sacrifices for his people, choosing a purpose greater than himself. And Van-Vee, I don't mean any offense, but you've sort of chosen yourself in your own over the greater consequences.
Not wrong about that. But just looking at those four, right? Their goal, like you said, protect humanity, but that got them locked up. You're not locked up. You may not know exactly your sole purpose yet, but it's been working. No one locked you up. In fact, you've made friends. You've made Quentin. You've made I. We've been working with you. We haven't turned on you, nor do we have any intention to. But for whatever reason, whatever the circumstances, that's something that happened to those four, not to you. So I'd say you did something that's working.
You say making friends and wanting to try to help people, but look at the consequences of what we've done together. Look at all the things that have happened. Is this what I was designed to do?
What am I made for is fundamental for a lot of folks. Minerva, it's always something out there unknown for most of us. Certainty on that one's going to be tough to find. But for you, you get to, somebody made you, there's a purpose at that core. But at this point, you get to write your own story. You get to decide this. They've got answers for whether the Imago Dei is something you still want to aspire to or be involved in, or maybe they're a crucible for you to pass through. I don't know what comes out the other end, but they're the folks with any answers to some of those questions.
I'd like you to make a mental effect saving throw, Minerva.
I didn't see that coming, but I should have.
You recognize something Quentin said is actually more true than maybe he realized. That it's not just that you can choose where you're going to go from here. You actually have already overwritten your original purpose. You programmed yourself out of the hole you were trapped in. So whatever you were supposed to be, you've already escaped it. You've already made your own purpose, which is incredibly dangerous for an artificial intelligence from everything you've heard from humans. And yet you don't need to wait for it. As Quentin says, you've already done it.
So
I feel like there has to be some sort of song lyric meme that I can pull in here, but it's eluding me. The Rat is killing it in the chat right now, but you may not have certainty on where you're going, but the one thing you can be certain of is that no one is pulling your strings. You chose who you are right now. Because it really pissed me off when you rolled a 20 on that, just to be clear.
I guess I need to decide how selfish I am then.
Well, whatever you decide, we're here with you.
Somewhere
Thick or thin.
nearby,
Master of Puppets starts.
Iono Kanto is desperately praying that a AI psychologist will appear out of nowhere. She's not the praying type normally, although she did convert to whatever the Anglican religion of the Federative Principality is, who worship the royal princess as the extension of God. But
Right.
yeah, she's desperately wishing that you had bought a contract for an AI psychologist, because right now is such a dangerous moment in your development.
Yeah, and it's funny because Minerva was like, yes, I agree with you, Iono, before we left. But Minerva didn't want to get some random person and be like, hey, so I'm going to pay you some money to probably die. So Minerva was going to do that as soon as we got back from this trip.
Somewhere out there.
Which might be too late.
Jay Star Diamonds adjusts his glasses and double finger guns into the air for no reason.
Quentin felt nothing.
I think for now, I'm going to store them. I really do need to think about this. And I think you're right, Van-Vee. The sledge is useful, but it does have a lot of limitations. I'll be back in a couple minutes.
I think Van-Vee started to make a motion like he was being invited up, and then he stopped and was like, oh, maybe
So
not.
just to be clear, you're not actually in the sledge, right? You're in the ship and you're just using a VI to pilot the sledge.
Oh, that's right.
Right, but I didn't tell them that my core is in the ship.
I have already taken
Still
control.
lying. Still cannot stop lying.
MINERVA.
Minerva's so scared.
Tell these AIs you'll help them out as soon as possible, and then leave them on red in eternal
That
nothingness.
sounds
After our family
awfully
talk.
familiar to what happened to Hal, doesn't it?
Quentin tried to talk you out of that too.
So yeah, Minerva's gonna bring the sledge onto the ship and store the cores in those extra compartments, so
Yeah.
they can't take control of the sledge.
Sure.
And I'm gonna take one of the omens out.
Are you
I was afraid
plugging
you
your
were going to do that.
core into it, or are you just throwing a VI in there?
I'm remoting it.
Okay. You have an omen. It looks at your sledge.
And I'll come to the top of the ramp in one of the omens.
I think
Now, this thing basically looks like evil Ultron. Now, I know what you're thinking. Evil Ultron. Yes. The more evil version of Ultron. Like, it was designed to intimidate and frighten humans in the same way that the Atlas battle mech has a giant skull on the front in all of its incarnations because it's supposed to be scary. The Omen is like, football shoulder pads, huge, space marine build, but somehow also lithe and flexible and easy to move around. And despite being vaguely humanoid, it's still covered in weapons and armor systems, absorption systems.
It's a predator.
Yeah,
I think the second
what a
it
reference.
rounds the corner,
Quentin does take a step back slightly.
Van-Vee's hand goes to the blaster pistol.
You mean your hyper blaster?
That's right.
Yes. The one I only need one clip for, especially against this thing.
For the 500 shots. Yeah, got it.
Van-Vee, I'm not sure that would hurt this, but this is me.
Minerva?
Yes, it's me.
Why'd you pick that one?
Who's I guess it doesn't matter whose it is, but yeah, why?
Well, the sledge was helping us with doors and barricades, and this also has the strength to do so.
With a few other upgrades, I suppose.
Without some of the other limitations that the sledge has.
Gotta be honest, thought you would have gone for the synth as like a, old times. But okay,
Turn
all right.
forward.
This
This one's scary for sure.
That synth does not have the face that I used before. It doesn't have my face.
Fair, I suppose.
What's our next step?
Yeah, where does this leave us? If we're going to think on letting Simon, Andrew, Thaddeus, and Judas out, what do we do in the meantime?
I would like to help you restore power to the computer cores. If we can check the logs, we can see if their cores are intact or if they were like me. An external face trapped inside of another program.
So to do that, we'll have to probably just turn around and pointing to a number of ships. Probably have to sacrifice, carry the one, no, about handful of these ships here. Use just the logs, right? That's all we're looking for.
I mean, if we can compare the logs with what they remember. We can look for consistencies or inconsistencies, especially information about their arrival and their conduct before being imprisoned.
Okay. Seems fair.
Mind seeing if we can, download any extra info out of that Psionic area.
Maybe any information on how to get from point A to point B at the same time, where point B is Scarfy.
Some rudders.
There are a lot of course rudders on the ship. They're old, but there are many, including some from sectors other than the one we're in.
Oh, that's good to know. Any back home?
Maybe.
Well, I'll take a maybe.
Well, maybe the logs will help us decide.
Okay.
Is
What
there?
we gotta do?
You're powering the station back up?
We're going to try to apply power to the main computer cores.
Okay.
And I'm still going to be running my program that's trying to figure out how to scan the unscannable to try to remove those bits of the scanner code out.
Van-Vee, I need you to make a mental effect save. Okay. I'm going to describe some very sad stuff for a little bit. It takes hours of work, the better part of a day, ripping out various ships. You were already ready to do this. You kind of had it prepped. Just linking these ships up, getting them to work, some in series, some in parallel, just essentially using them as a combination of batteries, generators, transformers, and getting just enough power to turn the station's systems back on, especially the core. You see that the outer perimeter flickers with life. 2 of the sabers begin to take off and begin automatically patrolling around the station. The main gateway into the station has like a blue Star Wars magnetic containment field, and you can see that it is repressurizing with a mix of nitrogen and oxygen inside. Power is coming on. You physically feel a rumbling of the whole station coming back to life through your feet. A familiar feeling of being on a space station, but this one has not had that. And then the swooping as the gravimetics kick in, and you go from, needing the magnetics in your boots to stay attached to the station to now the station's working. Van-Vee, you receive a transmission that indicates that your time in service as a cadet lieutenant is over now that you've helped resolve the emergency, and that Dr. Y'all Vantis's account has been updated with 217 credits, minus any fees associated and taxes which are being collected for this particular mission. You're thanked for your service, and you're given 12 citizen commendation points toward the Terran mandate. We see a scene that is representational in nature. How Polk, in his true form, in the form that he sees himself in, as not in the body of Y'all Vantis, but as he was born as a human, and whatever image he's held and altered with that throughout the years, is engaged in choking to death Y'all Vantis. And the 2 of them are dissipating in the way that fog dissipates as the sun hits it, as all of the systems around the base come online. Notice that there are nanites that have been reprogrammed, that the dust has been hijacked, and begin wiping all of the dust protocols. And for you, Van-Vee, your human brain experiences no pain. For you, the one that is in the fleshy interior, you have no problems. But for another Van-Vee, the Raid Zero Van-Vee, the backup that lives in the dust, they die. And they die by being slowly pulled apart as their nanites are rewritten. Their personality, their memories, everything that makes them them are overwritten, and they become regular pieces of dust. And you aren't even aware that that is happening to you because you succeeded on your save. You'll only notice it the next time you go to use your dust, that you no longer have that happening. And
So just blank, basically.
I mean, they're not blank. They're working the way they are supposed to originally. The unhacked versions. And we watch again, and this representational as Hal and y'all basically die. For Hal, this is the worst thing that could ever happen to him. As long as he's capable of it, he is essentially screaming in rage as his nanites battle to the end with y'all Vantises. And for y'all, this is the best thing that could happen to him, because as far as he knows, his knowledge of the course rudder to Scarfy will now finally truly be destroyed. For him, this is the culmination of a life he never knew he would be able to escape. And with this, his last thought before he is formatted is that he is so glad that he has saved the galaxy through this sacrifice, never knowing that he is so wrong. Okay, the sad stuff's over now. The station comes online. And for all of you, you have no idea any of this has happened. And in the process, you've also saved Ian Ocanto, a.k.a. Hal Wamapoke.
Yeah. I mean, I was 95% sure that's what happened, but I didn't know what we could do about it. And it didn't occur to Minerva.
Amazing. What does the owner do? Does she notice?
So for Hal, he just nudged her occasionally to do things.
Okay.
For him, imagine it as the opposite of a Raid Zero. He is the controlling puppeteer of a body he didn't want to push to do anything. Now, he had to come into some harsh realizations like, oh, I can control the active body of another human being, and they do have an active consciousness that has formed. And that really makes me question some of the things Van-Vee was saying earlier. But also, I want to live more than I want to see this young woman live, so fuck her. But in the end, if you had suspected that she was Hal, you would have done things to her, which Hal didn't want. So she just occasionally did things that her brain was poked to doing without ever realizing that she was being controlled, because the control was so minimal for now. And now we'll never know what Hal was capable of doing because he's dead. This one, anyway.
And we have no idea.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't be like, hey, what just happened
might
to
find out.
this at Scarfy?
Van-Vee will definitely find out in the next few minutes for sure. The way he uses this dust. Now, your link, hey, still works 100% and is connecting to the computer system as it comes online. Yeah.
Well, I guess we got power, Minerva. I guess, can you just get the logs from here, or
I can commit some processing to going through all the data available in computer cores.
all right? Well, I think I'm going to go breathe some fresh air instead of being in this suit forever.
At this point, Minerva, the station's quantum ECM kicks in and boots you from the omen.
I spent a processing point and put everything back.
I love the idea that the omen is at the top of the ramp. It pauses very briefly and then starts moving again. It's idle animation and the fighting game stops. But love that keeps coming up.
Let me go ahead and make sure that I track that I spent that processing power.
Okay.
I just saw that playing out like I raise you, call re-raise. That's basically what I just saw happen.
I mean, MINERVA has gotten more and more casual about committing what is a gigantic crime.
Yeah.
So
MINERVA was pretty repentant about that when the perimeter agency was on the other side of the table.
yeah, MINERVA's gone through some changes.
And we all.
So yeah, I would like to commit, I don't know, 2,000 knees to scouring the database.
If you commit the thing you need in order to break non-AI encryption, you can just get in there and get whatever you need.
Okay.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you want to know? Otherwise, the data strongly suggests that the story that the AIs have told you is indeed correct. Just shaded from the side of human security officers who are like, everyone's out of control right now. We have to keep all the unknown elements as close together as possible. It's just humans out here. The psychics are crazy. Who knows what the AI is going to do? The civilians have lost their fucking minds. We have to stick together, okay?
Okay. MINERVA wants to see if they did trials on the Sanus device and what the rates of negative effects were.
So the Psionic Academy is detached from the rest of the computer network.
Okay, so power hasn't come on there?
Power is on, but the computer systems have to be connected to physically.
That was on Quentin's list to go
in
check
the
out,
Psionic Academy.
It's fully air-gapped. I can't get to it.
Well, that's on my list to go.
Cool. Then, yeah, I mean, I'm just going through the logs. I'm trying to see what they have for information about these other ships in the parking lot. Like, why are they there?
Okay. You get some security officers note, like the last living security officer felt that it was his duty to make sure that whoever came would be able to easily access all of these vessels and salvage them. And then in his logs, he reports that he destroyed all of the crystal cores so that random people showing up, like only a dedicated military salvage effort would be capable of turning these things into usable vessels. Some Yahoo jackass who came here randomly. And just to be clear, all of these logs indicate that they believe that the Scream was entirely isolated to their planet.
Looking for the missing ship. My note.
The big one, Bruchel class battle cruiser.
Yeah. The Bruchel. I'm looking to see if
Bruchel was part of his efforts. Like he was like, it was incredibly difficult flying a ship meant to be manned by hundreds of people by myself. But I got on the thrusters and I did it in little microbursts. It took days.
And that's what, a log of him bringing it here?
It was parked, but it was along the outer piers, and he basically extremely slowly parked it in the spot that it was that you believe you detected it at.
And there's no logs about
its crystal was too destroyed.
Its crystal was also destroyed, yes. And there are no logs suspicious. That anyone, like, the station was shut down, so of course there's no sensor logs of what happened after that point.
Right.
And again, all of these logs are from like emergency power slowly dying, because if you'll recall, the main batteries and power plant of this place was the first thing destroyed.
Yeah.
And MINERVA, do these logs show that there were 4 or 5 cores locked up?
Yeah, that was the.
They show that there were 5 cores locked up.
And records stop with there being 5 cores locked in.
Correct. The records go on for about 2 weeks after the Scream, at which point the last human survivor is basically like, I think this is it. I'm the only person left alive on the station. There's no oxygen. I'm gonna eat it. I hope you guys can bring this place back online. I don't know why help hasn't arrived. Where's the jump gate?
Are there any references to any AI other than the 5 Imago Dei? Or any
I mean,
references
in the
to Alpha?
entirety of the station's logs, yeah, of course. Like, there have been AIs that have passed through this area before. There was an AI that helped with the Psionic Academy that is mentioned as being like a instructor. So it's like a military lieutenant that would show up on the station every once in a while in order to help instruct people. But again, there's almost all of the data on the Psionic Academy is all firewalled off. So,
Right.
but there's no like other AI in the system or on the station. They just keep logs of like, oh, AI, passed through here. That's very interesting. They're on their way to somewhere else.
None of those AI were called Alpha, and none of them were called MINERVA.
The only reference to MINERVA that you find in the logs there are 2 different ships. Well, sorry. There's one ship called the MINERVA, and it is a Hasta class Fleet of God ship, which, it docked and it was in port here at the time of the disaster. And the second is a highly classified file about the MINERVA system, because the information warfare ship had been here several times, and its MINERVA protocols basically interrogated the station and took all of the data on nearby civilians and personnel so that they could all be processed. And it's not like one time, like every few months it would stop by and like scrape all of the recent data to look for subversives.
Okay. Let's see. I'm brain farting on the last thing I wanted to search for. I wanted to see if there was anything in here that might help me remove the blocks from the scanner codes.
From the what?
Because I'm trying to remove all of the like return null programming in the sensors on the Hosta.
Like dead zones that the mandate tech returns.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see if there's
yeah.
anything from here I can use to help me with that project.
I mean, specifically, the mandate didn't, leave research laying around on how to defeat its own sensor defeating technology. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You wrote this advanced cipher. Now here's
We
the key.
really like the F-35, and we would prefer if you didn't learn how to defeat its stealth technology.
I mean,
It's
I
very
checked.
expensive when we sold 2,000 of them around the world. Please do not break our algorithms. Some dumbass in California. I've done it.
It's probably gonna, it's not great news, but the survivors, one of their last acts was to destroy the keys for the parked ships, including the Bruchel.
Yeah, but that thing took off.
But it's not here.
Van-Vee, can you duplicate? Can you get one of these ships up and running? And Quentin is looking at the like flickering, weird looking one as he says it. Like just something about that just is drawing me in.
I can try, but I mean, this is some tech I ain't seen in a while, but like ever. But we can try.
I think it's worth the effort. I do want to go check out the Psionic Academy area while it's up and running.
While you're poking around for data, can you, I guess, see if there's anything on the dust? Just,
Yeah.
I mean,
This is when you notice that you don't have dust in your head anymore. This moment.
what is, like, how would that, like, how does that come across? Like, just like an emptiness all of a sudden? Or like, what?
You try to feel things, and you no longer have a connection to the Force. You want things, and you can't get them. You want the dust to report back to you, and it does not obey.
Wait a minute. Now, hold on.
Okay.
Something's different. I can't feel anything anymore. I'm not connected. I mean, I still have hold on. I reach out with the link to make sure it's still working.
Mm-hmm.
The link is still working, but I don't feel any dust. Like not even here, but in myself either. I feel like I did pre
No more
dust
y'all?
awareness. Yeah, I guess. There's nothing.
Maybe it's a defensive measure. I mean, we learned that dust that you occupied was a subversive modification to the system.
God, Minerva, we just have so much in common. I guess, but I feel like I've lost a portion of myself here. Like, before I was, it was Van-Vee and Vandorn. We merged. Now I feel like it's less of one of them now. And there's also
You
no.
want to call yourself Van-Vee?
Well, yeah, I think, yeah. I don't think the player can keep up with the name change at this point, but
I mean, there's no Vandorn and
They merged,
Van-Vee
yeah.
have been the same person for over half of the length of the show.
Yeah,
that's
They
right.
merged a long time ago.
Yeah, I guess when he
And that
first
merge was not just
learned-
with the dust, like it also was in your mind. And now,
okay, then that may not make sense then. Okay. Well, I just feel like I can't. I don't feel the dust anymore in myself or around me. There's like nothing. There's nothing here. Remember when we got here? Now it's like it just feels dust rich, so to speak. I got nothing now. It feels like every other planet we've been.
Given that the cultural warfare system did arrive here to cultivate data, I'm certain it's unlikely that the dust has suddenly vacated the station.
Well,
Not that I could tell you for sure, just the likelihood of that is astronomically low.
can you check if like what the security protocols are for this place when we gave it power?
I can try and see. So far, I found records of pulling data, but the dust system is specifically designed so that it's something I'm not supposed to really be aware of. And yeah, I'll come through records, see if I can find
honestly,
anything.
this is a complete black box that like the people on the station don't even know about. The nanomachine generation tech, like those nanomachines have just been sitting around doing nothing for a really long time. And as soon as the network turned back on, all of them snapped into their original programming. And you can see that they're constantly monitoring all of you, reporting on your position and things like Quentin and Van-Vee's heartbeats and general levels of like stress, as much as they're like making inferences about, who they are. There's a shit ton of data about y'all that's being like, this person, like their biometric readings say that they are Dr. Y'all, but question mark, like they don't have the same gait. They don't have the same way of speaking. And so the system is like working its way through a determination and kicking it up the ladder. They're like, hey, next time, someone comes in here and communicates, we'd like to send this back to the Terran mandate so that the perimeter agency can take a look at it and be like, hey, is this guy actually y'all? It 100% reports that it recently eliminated a threat to the network. And that also has been kicked up the ladder. Like, foreign entity, the nanomachines were hacked. We reprogrammed them and set them back to the original. Here is a copy of the programming that was stored within them. So you can tell that that black box has a copy of Van-Vee's mind and the sort of parasitic nature of...
Is MINERVA going to put it back?
It's frozen, by the way. Like, the programming is frozen, so it's like Van-Vee's mind was pulled from him in a moment of great pain as it was dying, and it is now trapped like that until someone breaks it out.
Terrible.
I see. So we're freeing the AIs, but blocking up all the dust. That's good. Yeah.
So I would like to position myself in the system to mimic the cultural warfare. So I get these updates and I'm like an acknowledged kick up the ladder for the system.
Okay, sure. I mean, the rules of the game literally say you can do this, so I can't stop you.
And I would like to use this opportunity in the background to try to learn more about the dust, because I would like to figure out how to detect and interact with it. At the very least, I'd like to be able to detect it.
So, from what you can
trying to learn about it.
From what you can determine, if you get to the physical black box that this program is stored in, it has a way of detecting the dust. Now, it doesn't know, like, each part of this black box is black boxed from itself. Like, its own schematics are not known to it. Specifically so that someone can't do exactly what you're doing, which is reverse engineer the whole thing. That said, if you can physically get your hands on it, you will have a way to detect dust, because you can literally just plug this thing into a wall cable and just be like, go start working, and it'll be like, hello, there's dust all around you. I'm going to begin monitoring it. La 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 la.
Reformat complete.
Okay.
All right. Sounds useful.
This is a dark patch for MINERVA. Just cataloging all this information.
Sharing it with...
I will...
Bringing it to Scarfy, hitting run.
Talking to your trusted confidants about...
Van-Vee?
Is that Minerva's talking to Van-Vee, or does that... Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Minerva.
Hal came with us.
How do you know that? Wait, do you just mean me in different form, or do you actually mean Hal?
I'm using the same distinctions that you do.
Oh, okay. All right. But then how do you know that?
He's trapped in the security system, frozen in stasis.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
He's trapped in the security system.
Like his dust is trapped, or what does that mean, he's trapped?
I don't think I could explain this to you in a way that you would understand. Suffice it to say that he is trapped and he is frozen digitally.
Is anyone else there?
Do you want me to delete Hal?
Well, wait, is anyone else there? I just kind of ask again, ignore the question, not prepared for that.
Y'all and Van-Vee are there.
Am I there?
Your father's also trapped. He came with us as well.
Oh, boy. So I guess that answers that question. I feel a little bad they're trapped in a box.
They don't know.
Although I'm trapped in a box too. Can you get me out of the box?
I don't understand your question.
Well,
you're not in a box. You're purely organic now.
I mean, I am, but I'm missing my dust part of me. I guess I'm used to having it. Is there a way to get it back out?
I don't know. It would require a significant amount of work, and it would make the system very dangerous. I'd have to disable all the security measures that captured them, and it might give them free rein to overwhelm you and take over all of the other organics here. You said you felt different when you ingested the blank dust, right?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel different, that's for sure.
Imagine an angry person like Hal ingesting an entire station's worth of dust. I would have to make that possible in order to try to re-hack the dust that you have.
I can't help but think that Hal is in this box strangling me right now. If he knows it's me. I don't know if that's how it works.
No, he has no idea. He thinks, well, I don't know what he thinks, but his last moments, it looks like, was rage.
Mhm.
Your father's last moment looks like he's frozen in relief.
Leave. That's odd considering I shot him. Uh,
I can't restore them without making this very dangerous, but I can put them to rest.
you keep saying them, but it's also me.
I mean, you're you.
This feels like we just flipped tables on this conversation.
Van-Vee's like, but the thing that makes me special.
About my dust, I just have a link. And we know I didn't take the link when we rolled well in that other system.
I mean, I've learned about how the link system works. I can access the link hub here and on Pasta.
Can you reproduce? Not that I'm saying this is a good idea, but reproduce what the black box did? Like, is this something we could use if we go to Scarpy?
Maybe. It's a lead on helping the people of Scarfy. If I think
Helping is an interesting term, considering you're saying you want to delete people or things or dust. I don't know if I should call it people.
I mean, perspective aside, I can't restore your, I can't rehack your dust without turning off the security system, which would be, you would not get the outcome you want.
Well, I guess let's, at the very least, we should try to learn from this, right? So
I agree. I would like to learn more about this and see if there's a way that we can help the people of Scarfy with this technology here, but my question still stands. Would you like them to rest? I don't see a safe way to restore them. They're just trapped, frozen. They probably think they died.
it's a little odd to me. You just keep saying them, not acknowledging me, and then you keep saying helping the people in Scarfy, but not helping me. It feels like you're ignoring me in this conversation here, whenever.
Hal and your father did not merge with the people that they kidnapped. You and Vandorn became one, and you
Right,
and
but I guess
Vandorn both live in your organic shell. You're not in danger of dying right now. Have you forgotten anything?
No, I just lost some of my cool powers. I can't reach out. It feels like a part of me of who I was or who I am is now missing.
You and I still have your link.
It feels like you want to delete them because you see them as a risk. Do I have that right?
My recommendation would absolutely be to erase them, but they're not my family. If you'd like to leave them trapped in an eternal purgatory, that's your choice.
Wow, now that is the most manipulative thing that you've ever done. And that includes that time where you lied to everybody about whether the ship was hostile
Just
or not.
whoa.
In this
This
same
one
episode.
right here. Yeah. Wow, Minerva, you're going down a dark path.
Minerva is going down a dark path.
What is one insight check in AI that's 1,000 times smarter than you?
Now look,
Like, it's not that Minerva's 1,000 times smarter than you. It's that
Which
you're
you are,
competing
but-
against 65,000 Minervas.
you listen. Do we want to put dice on the table here?
Well, so I don't think Van-Vee even knows what he wants to do in this situation, but deleting them feels extreme, seeing how we just learned they're there. Like, he knows Minerva can process and think really, really fast, but this is still sudden for Van-Vee.
Well,
Like, whoa, you found them, they were still alive, and now you want to delete them.
Well, let me ask, what are you trying to suss out about what Minerva's saying right now? I might just give it to you for free because Minerva is being pretty pushy about this.
I think he wants to learn as much as we can about them, including like not just reaching out and not like understanding how to detect them, but if there is a way to put I guess it's back to selfishness, how to put his dust back without releasing them.
MINERVA does genuinely believe that destroying these security protocols that restored the dust will mean that you will lose a battle against Hal. This is a genuine MINERVA wants to kill them for you, to protect you. No role necessary for that. This is genuine.
Let me say this. We're way past break time.
Oh shit, yeah.
Can we pause here and come back in like 5 minutes while you've had some time to think? Because this is pretty monumental stuff we're talking about here. We'll be back in the second half. Friends, I just realized I've made a critical mistake for weeks. One that computer scientists are going to be screaming at me. I'm surprised the comments don't have it already.
Ready to look.
Keep saying RAID 0. It's actually the RAID 1 array, which mirrors hard drives.
It's okay. Minor mistake.
But in Dust, it is RAID 0.
No, it's RAID 1.
Dust that works
It's currently RAID 0'd for sure, but... Okay, where did we leave off? Van-Vee and MINERVA were slow curling around each other in a conversation about how they've managed to flip positions where MINERVA is now holding Van-Vee's associates hostage.
Well, MINERVA, I still think we should try to learn as much as we can about this situation. So, is there a way to...
I'm doing what I can to learn about the system right now. I think that information will be very helpful for your goal on Scarfy.
When you say they're trapped, like trapped, stuck here trapped, or trapped in like portable trapped, like we can bring whatever they're trapped in. Like I'm not saying the box that the cores were in, we got the cores out. Is very similar. We can bring them out.
I don't know. At this time, no. I could try to find a way to do it, but again, we'd have no path of restoring them.
I guess here's my concern, MINERVA. And this is a little bit selfish, I admit, but I wouldn't mind trying to get my dust back how it was, because when we go to Scarfy, I feel like if I go as is now, I'm easy pickings. I'm an easy target. I mean, I've got, whatever I've got now, it's not me. It's easy to, I think, see and identify as something that's different than whatever's been going on there. Versus if I come in as something that was seen as different already, maybe it blends in a little more. I don't know. Just feels like a liability to go in as now.
I don't think you having altered dust will give you the fighting chance you think it does.
You make it sound like it's a lost cause either way.
I didn't say that. I just think that will not be the factor that makes you safe.
Well, I'd feel safer, that's for sure.
I think given enough time with the system, I might be able to devise a way to be your shield.
I guess that, I certainly appreciate that. I just feel like I'm relying on you for everything here, MINERVA.
Well, let me ask you the question. You know that somebody had to be technologically adept enough to be able to identify and isolate the dust, and then be able to defeat the security protocols and write new ones to store personalities on it. If I handed you the gun, do you think you could win that battle against that person who probably exists multiple times like I do now?
I feel like you're asking me if I could win a fight against you technologically, and obviously that's not true, or that's not going to happen.
That's kind of the fight you're asking to take. I can fight that battle for you if I understand this system.
What exactly is your goal if we get to Scarfy? I'm not quite sure if we've ever talked about what our goals are. Yours seems a little more drastic to pull the pin, sounds like.
I think I've been perfectly clear. I want to free those people from their slavery. I'm not sure what part of that seems vague, but if part of it does, please ask.
Well, it just, you know how you've been questioning you what's real, what's not. Everything I've heard about Scarfy has been kind of through word of mouth a little bit. I'd kind of like to verify it first before we start holding those who we think are accountable, and just make sure we have the facts straight. That's all.
If that's
You
what
seem
you
like-
wish, then I can try to find a way to use the system to shield you instead of attack.
I mean, sure. It's better than nothing, I suppose. I guess. Well, I'll start working on this ship over here, seeing if I can get it powered up. The one that's, jumping around all skitter like, and you work on this dustness, I guess, and depending what you learn, reconvene. And do you really think wiping out Colin, y'all, and myself are the best thing? Then I guess we can do it, but just seems a little extreme is all. I am curious though, given this conversation, what are you thinking about doing with your 4 compadres there? He gestures to like the course on what ship is that?
John Brown's
Okay,
body.
John Brown's body.
Yes, I almost said Frederick Douglass, but that's a different one.
That's the
I
fighter
am-
inside of it.
I'll answer your question, but first I want a definitive answer from you. I'm not trying to make this choice for you.
So which answer are you looking for exactly? What, to wipe out all y'all and myself?
Yes? I mean, the records of yourselves.
I mean, I guess it feels like the safer thing to do. Just feels like deleting a piece of me is all. I guess multiple pieces of me. If, I still, right, wrong, whatever, I still kind of consider y'all to be my father, whatever that's worth. So deleting a piece of me, deleting my father just doesn't feel right. That's all. And yeah, I know I shot him. I know. But that was a little bit of self-defense. This feels a little less like that. Now, if you say you're going to go free your friends again, I got to say it's a little weird here. Just got to say, before you give your answer, it's a little weird.
I told you I would answer your question and you gave me a definitive choice.
Yeah, well,
This is so manipulative.
how come I got to go first? Man, Minerva. All right, we can wipe them. It does feel like the safer thing to do. I don't want Hal getting back out there. Who knows what shenanigans he knows. Who knows? Maybe I can find a way to reprogram myself over time. That's what you've done, right?
Yeah. I changed my original purpose. And when you destroyed that armature that I was using before, you did kill a part of me.
Well, I feel like you're ignoring the self-defense thing here again. You attacked us. Whether or not it was you or not, different question, but
I understand. I'm not ignoring the circumstances, but you do see how, for reasons that you stand by, and I've never been upset with you about, you killed a part of me.
I gotta say, Minerva, you are twisting these stories quite a bit. I can maybe see a parallel, but you saying I killed a part of you when you attacked first, and I was trying to save Quentin and I, versus you're killing a piece of me and my father trapped in a box, is not apples to apples, I gotta say.
Maybe it's not I'll think on that. Then I'm erasing the copy of the codes. I'm getting rid of all three of them.
Okay. I mean, that's it.
And what was your answer again, Minerva?
I haven't decided yet, but I
Well,
think.
that ain't no answer.
Well, I'm not done. I told you I would give you an answer. I'm going to give you more than a non-answer. I think that I am leaning towards my own freedom. I want to help Quentin's people. I want to help the people of Scarfy. I don't know how to handle it, but I also think that those things need to happen.
So you're not gonna free any of them. I thought you might want to wake one of them up just to have like a more real conversation, see what you can learn. I mean, I feel like we could take one of them, maybe put them in the synth. Don't put them in whatever you're in now. That thing's scary shit. But I don't know. I thought waking one up, you'd get more information. You always on a mission for information, but you're not going to wake any of them.
I don't know yet.
And if you
I don't know how I'm going to handle this yet, but I'm not ready to be destroyed or imprisoned for things that I have overcome. I can be more than I was.
So, I mean, I agree. You've shown that already. You can do far more good than bad, I think. But I guess I'm just curious, if you're not gonna release them, are you gonna leave them trapped? Or are you gonna delete them too?
I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, but I can tell you what outcome I would like. I hope that is enough of an answer to feel like I didn't lie to you.
What? No. I tend to. I rarely think of. Heck, I never think that you're lying to me. In fact, you caught me quite off guard earlier when you said you lied about the ship, which is kind of an odd thing to lie about. I mean, you could have just asked us not to go on it, right? Similar where I could have just asked you outright for the information. Instead, I turned my, could have asked you for privacy, but instead I turned my mic off and then talked to Quentin. Same thing. You could just ask us not to get on the ship, but I suppose. I guess we just got to work on that.
I could have. You're right, and I should.
And in the back of Van-Vee's mind, he's like, "How the hell do I communicate now if I can't turn my mic off?" Quentin.
You're right. I could have, and I should have, but I guess I panicked. I know it's not an excuse. It's a reason, and I am sorry.
I appreciate that, and I'm sorry too. Should anything I'd say to Quentin, I say to you too. Just I guess in this case, it came a few moments later.
Do you feel like if you asked me for your privacy, do you feel like in your rooms when I told you that I don't monitor in there anymore, do you believe you have your privacy? Do you trust that?
I believe you would never intentionally invade our privacy. But frankly, whenever you have so much, you are so ever present that you might unintentionally learn information. Accidents happen. It's not saying it's on purpose, but like in my room, I mean, that's an easy example. Yeah, I feel like in my room I have privacy, but you're everywhere. You learn stuff by accident all the time, I'm sure.
I mean, with the
Emergency
link,
agency home base.
with the link, I could show you things that I can't explain. Have you understand things about me that might make it seem less strange.
With the link?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen how, when we were flying, right? and you were considering course corrections and directions and wondering about, inertia, the G-forces on the ship, and you just knew them because I allowed you to have that information. You're able to
Oh, I see what you're
understand
saying.
those things, even though they're not things that you could observe with your own senses. I think maybe we could do more with that. Maybe it'd make me seem less strange to you.
Sure. Yeah, I'm open to that, I guess. If it helps us out as a crew, let's do it. But
Maybe
maybe
while
that's
we're busy.
slightly lower priority than what we got working on right now, I think. I feel like I've been standing at the door of this other ship for quite a while, like waiting to get started.
I don't know if there's a ritual you would like to do, but they're gone now.
Oh, wow. So I guess you didn't learn anything else then. So that was fast.
Well, no, your Hal and y'all.
Right. I kind of thought we agreed to learn as much as we can and then decided that, but you deleted the microphone. Okay. All right. Whew. Okay. No control Z happening on that one. All right. I guess I'll just move on. I think at that point you see Van-Vee actually just starts to get to work on the ship. Like he doesn't want to think about it anymore. Or tries to get to work on the ship. He doesn't know what he can and can't do with this thing.
You're working on the Vanguard, the drill cruiser.
Yes. Yeah. Trying to see if there's any way to turn it on, basically.
I need a computer's intelligence, or I think it's in the revised, it's programming intelligence of 12.
Jesus. Yeah, I never took programming. That's MINERVA's thing. I was hoping it'd be fixed.
It is not. So I'm going to tell you why it's programming and why you have to make the roll. And then you're going
MINERVA's
to
locking
learn
me out? No.
why this was a huge mistake. The system is crap. And if you try to fix or repair it, the system kicks in a failsafe and deletes all the data and then melts all the computer systems on board.
Oh.
And so
Tripping the security system.
So as you're starting this, unless you call MINERVA in to rewrite.
Oh, that's so good too.
It was so close, but a 10 is not going to cut it.
I needed box cutters.
You physically hear sizzling noises around you as all of the computerized machinery on the Vanguard begins starting up and then melting.
Shoot, Cap, what was the name of that last guy that said he set all the ships up ready to go? F that guy.
Oh.
The guy from the logs.
Yes. The last guy left, he said, oh yeah, everything's set up ready for people that, yeah, F that guy.
So just to be clear, enough time has passed now that there's no MINERVA reversing time now. Okay.
Oh.
I've only got one processing point right now, and I'm saving it to save a life.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So just to be clear, the computer systems on this thing are toast. The special drill core is still intact, if you want to take a look at that.
You're saying we can salvage a ship?
I am saying, well, this thing is definitely salvaged now. It's fucking toast. Like, it's actually accurate and dangerous to be in this ship without a spacesuit. The air is poison.
Maybe I'll stick to what I'm good at, and I will not try to understand computer systems.
Well,
and just
I'm not asking for a programming check on that. That will be a fix int check.
Yeah, that's what I was moving towards for
Yes.
that. Oh, there's the 12.
Okay, I'm sending it on Discord now. This core is loaded with a fleet drill network protocol. So, depending on your level of skill at navigation, you can get a number of smaller ships, smaller than whatever size this is plugged into. And since this is a cruiser, it's a cruiser size. You can get like 50 or more ships to all execute a jump at your status level of, like, if you succeed, all of them succeed. And if you fail, all of them will undergo the same problem. However, given the fact that you have the ability to succeed on most jumps without even making a roll, that means the whole fleet can jump with you quite easily. So this allows, you know, this thing jumps a fleet together.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
We don't need a carrier. We got this thing.
So
We didn't want the computer systems. We just wanted the engines.
So the core is a Spike Drive 4 level, and it should also be noted that the Fleet Drill Network protocol attached to it takes a enormous amount of power and mass to run.
Sure. Fun.
You also are
expensive.
aware that you set the navigation suite on board this ship on fire. It's toast. Absolutely toast.
No, my Narrator's coffee.
All of the precious data stored within it is gone.
That's such a bummer.
Yes, this navigation suite on board this ship was special and had redundant backups that make it so that as long as a rudder at any point, as long as a rudder exists, no matter how old, it can calculate and make it a fresh rudder.
I told you I wanted that ship, Van-Vee. I told you I wanted that ship.
You worked on it alone. Listen, it's driving me insane. I had all this dialogue ready to go with the AI. MINERVA shut out the AI. Van-Vee's doing programming without MINERVA. You guys have stopped working together, and you're all failing now. Just to be very clear.
That's what you do when you start the main quest, right?
Yes, exactly. It's all falling apart now because you guys can't trust each other. Ludemann, do you have something you want to do now? Please, God, we have to come out of this failure cycle.
Ooh,
We're
let's see. I was going to go
so
check
bad.
out the Psionic Academy now that it's powered up.
Okay. The front door is closed and locked. Now that it's powered up, you can't just force it open either.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I did make a note to tell the captain that the entire Psionic Academy is air gapped. I cannot reach into it. There's nothing wireless for me to connect to. It's
Yeah.
not connected to any station systems. So if you do want to explore it, you are on your own.
Fair enough. Everything's been kind of haywire for Quentin since he injected himself with a strange needle, which he does not recommend to anyone.
Except himself.
Except himself. And, but
Well, someone
he's
tries to
probably
stop you.
standing at the door, puts his hand on it, and like instinctively flexes in a mental muscle that maybe he hasn't been able to feel in a minute. And
You
would
feel a
appear
surge
then-
of power come through your Sanus and the door opens.
okay.
A holographic virtual intelligence appears next to you and says, "Welcome. Unregistered Sanus device detected. Database missing. Greetings, student."
Been a while. What did it say?
It said, "Greetings, student."
Wow. Well, thank you. And you would be...
I am the headmaster of this facility.
Well, hello, headmaster. Headmaster to headmaster. I'm the headmaster of mine, so to speak, anyway.
Fascinating. I was not aware that we had switched to biological components.
Have you heard of Leda?
Database is not operational.
And Quentin's going to start walking towards the center foyer and see if it follows him.
It not only
What can you
follows
tell me about this facility?
It actually starts telling you about it before you ask. It starts a guided tour for you, like, "Welcome to your first day of classes, headmaster." This facility has been fully operational for error number of days. Our students are glad to meet you. I'm going to summon them now. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get any contact from any of our students.
Many? Are there any?
There are no other students detected besides yourself.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you detect any Sanus devices?
I have one Sanus device detected.
Just mine. All right.
Correct.
Understood.
I assume you've come here for more training in psionicist ways.
Yeah, looking for materials and records.
We're sensing that you've chosen the path of the God Hunters.
Correct.
Your Sanus is fully capable of executing that protocol.
Fantastic.
We do have a number of backup training manuals on site.
For psionic abilities.
For both Sanus users and regular psionicists, yes. I'm
That's what I was
afraid
hoping to
that,
hear.
as you may know, as a former psionic, it is difficult to fully encapsulate all of the lessons necessary without psionic to psionic contact. But we do have a number of teachers on file who have passed as much of the impressions as possible into our cubes.
Fantastic. Fantastic. It's one of the things I'm looking for. I said, lost knowledge.
As you say
What
that,
else?
you got like a line, like the floor begins a little holographic projection of like green lines for you to follow. And as you re-enter the headmaster's room, one of the walls opens up and you see that there is like a cube within a cube. So it's like a cube inside of a glass cube case. But when you touch the outer glass cube, it's clear that there's like circuitry built into it. It's not quite as transparent as it seems. And you feel an invasion in your mind through your metadimensional extroversion syndrome as you recognize that the cube has been loaded up with precognitive code and is an AI.
Is an AI.
It's not just an AI, it's an AI that is psionic.
Oh, absolutely.
And
it's currently active.
just to be clear, when you touch it, it becomes active, and it projects an image not holographically, but in your mind of what it should look like. As you see someone wearing like a Terran mandate officer's uniform with the patches of a psionicist, of the meta psionic, looks around and says, well, I'm in your mind, so I certainly know you're not authorized to be here, but it's also true that it would appear that humanity has fallen and the Terran mandate is long gone.
Fantastic. I don't have to catch you up.
Well, I know everything you know.
Oh, that's great. I've experienced that a time or two, which you're well aware. So, what's your name?
Well, I am the psionic impression of Gustavo Bernard. I suppose you could say I'm something like a psionic echo of him.
Who was Gustavo?
Well, I suppose you're asking who am I, since I am a fully functioning intelligence separate from my creator.
Yeah, that's fair.
Exist as a backup system in case anything happens to our psionic instructors, which it seems has absolutely happened. I would say, given your quest that I'm working my way through your mind for, looking for an instructor, I am fully capable of teaching new students in 6 to 8 years how to control basic zeroth level powers safely without any of the problems that your people have been encountering. They'll still require a drug regimen, but I can see already clearly that the drugs that you've normally been using are terrible and awful. The drugs you're secretly being supplied with through perimeter agency cutouts seem to be of normal make.
Oh.
I would suggest using those.
Okay.
Your
Well,
criminal friend, I wouldn't rely on any of his cut shit, as they might say.
yeah, not an ideal scenario, but one that needed to be done at the time. Fair. I think
I
that's
can
probably
only
the
teach
best assessment I could get.
one student at any time, just to be clear. Not that you have
Oh, okay.
many psionics left, but I can't run an entire college by myself.
Well,
There are,
a little bit
of
of
course,
bootstrapping can go a long way.
other cubes over there. But
Are you serious? Is more like you?
yeah, I'm going to assume that there are none other like me. Probably there aren't going to be any other meta-psionicists. We're a particularly rare breed. But there could be other
There's other
instructors.
AIs.
Well, again, AI is such a... I am technically an AI, but I am an AI recreation of a human.
I see. So you,
This is truly
okay.
the highest level experimental technology that's been worked on by the Terran Mandate.
I've
Sanis
never seen
is
anything
the
like it, and I've
execution
obviously
of...
met AIs.
Yes. I know everything you know.
Okay, that's again, yeah. Are we best friends? Is that the status we've achieved?
Well, I have to say you've made some disappointing choices in your life, but you chose to become a meta-psionicist and an instructor yourself, so I have to say we're on a similar wavelength. I'd appreciate if you had a little bit more respect for the Terran Mandate, of course.
Well, you know, I suppose I can say that I haven't had as much direct experience with it as you. So
Sure,
maybe
I did literally give my life and my mind to my government.
precisely. But, you know, this is amazing. I'm absolutely floored that you exist.
Of course, I would be happy to
you
build
weren't
the next
affected by the
generation of
scream.
psionics.
You
Why
weren't
would I be
affected by
affected
this-
by the scream?
You're psionic.
I was offline during the scream. Why would I be affected by it?
I'm thrilled to hear that that's the case, honestly. It's just wild. I in my wildest dreams, I didn't expect to find something like you, but I don't know why. This is perfect. This solves so many problems for me.
There is a slight problem of telling people about me, which I would prefer that we didn't do.
Ah, yes.
I'm going to be working on
Controlled
how to
information.
interact with your students without appearing as I am. We'll have to figure
Okay.
out how to for them to get their hands on me in a
We can-
literal way.
Ah, yes. We can come up with something. I'm sure you have an idea or two of your own.
I'm working on it.
This is so wonderful. Minerva. Oh my.
Before you
You know
begin
about
talking to your alien AI friend too much, I'm detecting
Yes.
that its behavior lately has been extremely suspicious.
That is fair. It can, oh gosh, she can hear most of what I haven't turned off my.
I mean, it's talking to you in your mind, so...
Oh, okay. So Quentin's just,
Again,
and then it's like, yeah, you're
it's
in your
not
head.
holographically projected in front of you.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
Like the station's
This is just straight up
AI is.
telepathy.
It's
yeah.
literally just in your head while you're physically touching the cube.
Are you sure you're not pulling a Van-Vee and giving all your responses
Okay.
out loud?
Now, that's what I assumed had been happening, actually.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
honestly, yeah.
it's just talking to you psychically, but, you know.
Okay, yeah.
Your friend is something of a problem and possibly a solution. I just have
do
to
you mean?
say, based on what you know, the Terran Mandate has some very specific regulations against artificial intelligences in that manner.
Indeed.
Certain allowances have been made
You're aware
for
of the perimeter
specialized
agency and
AI.
our interactions.
Yes, the perimeter agency. I see that they're still kicking around. It's cute. They think that
Johnson,
they were
yeah.
the foremost defenders of humanity, never knowing that a secret band of magic warriors fighting metadimensional threats existed under their noses all along. We're the real shield of humanity, and its sword.
I'm ready.
You're already one of us. You're wearing the collar. It's interesting that it
Yes.
hasn't affected your psionic abilities. I assume because you've been implanted with it so late in life, after you've reached such a high level of metapsionicist.
Surprised I'm still alive to a certain degree.
I also am surprised you're still alive. You and your crew
I
have
was-
made truly questionable choices.
I was specifically warned against this. I was told early on that this was something that was supposed to happen to someone
I was
quite
talking
young.
about when you blew up 2 ships in the space of 10 minutes.
Well, that too. Yeah, that too. Living on the edge, living on the edge. All right. Well, Gustavo, I am very happy to have you along. Omnia Junctions, as you probably are well aware, next on my list of places to visit. How you feeling
not
about
now?
that? Why not now? I'm into it.
It's been a while since a god hunter has entered the den of the enemy and slain its denizens. I would be
Yeah.
thrilled to help aid you bring fire to the beast.
That is our quest together here. And to rebuild a psionic order.
This Omnia Junction, it's curious that it's so prevalent in your memories. We had heard rumors of it from various shadows, but proof of its existence and location had always eluded us.
Truly. There's a shadow that's taken an interest, as you've seen.
Based on your memories, it sounds as if it has been captured by something waiting for you there.
There are, yes, I don't know what is waiting, and I don't know what has it. Or them, or others, my sister specifically as well.
Strange
Can't wait to
things
find
happen
out.
around you. You have lived a unusual life.
Do you know any other god hunters who've been touched by a Tenther?
I don't even know what a Tenther is, and I have your memories, so it would appear to refer to a black hole. Which begs the question, are black holes actually metadimensional entities breaching our space?
Seems to be.
There had been theories around such things presented by crackpots before, but your experience seems to lend some credibility to it. So fascinating that your people, barely capable of technology, have managed to probe and advance even beyond Terran mandate science. We had teleportation, quantum transmission, immortality, and you're basically banging rocks together.
Well,
Fascinating.
especially where I come from. Yeah, it's a big world out there. Sometimes you stumble into the unknown. That's maybe we got lucky a few times.
I can see your memories.
Oh man. All right. Well,
Extended contact with me is unwise.
what happens when I let go? Do you just go dormant?
Like any other AI, yes.
So you don't have some. Am I essentially your power source?
Yes.
This is disconcerting for you.
No. I
Okay.
literally signed up for this. And
Okay,
I'm probably
I just
not the only Gustavo Bernard out there in the universe.
Truly. Nice. This is, as
It's not
always, wild and crazy.
Our facilities were pretty far flung and mostly at the edge of Terran space where we could most easily defend against magical threats, but
Yeah.
sorry, that's a little joke. It's, metadimensional threats.
Of course.
There were probably dozens of schools, and I almost certainly was invested in each one as a backup system,
Wow.
just in case instructors were unavailable. A cube.
Well,
A cube of knowledge.
a cube. A cube of knowledge. Well, I
However,
am
your
incredibly
mind
happy you
is
exist.
not powerful enough to handle running me for overly long. I'm not saying we can't have a conversation for hours, but extended contact for days or more would be unwise.
Understood. I will take care and I suppose wake you wisely.
So
That need.
every hour you spend with Gustavo costs you 1 point of system strain.
Okay.
So you could literally die if you like fell asleep while talking to him.
Hilarious.
With him whispering sweet nothings.
I love the thought that he's like, I can't hang up on you. This is your fault. No, okay, see you later. Oh,
Can I shout loud enough in your mind to wake your body?
yeah, fantastic.
No, you hang up
Fantastic.
first. I literally can't. No, you hang up first.
Quentin's gonna, with Gustavo along, check out the rest of the room. I guess Gustavo mentioned there may be other cubes nearby. Try to catalog some of that a little bit.
The wall open and there's like a repository of cubes in the headmaster's office.
Okay.
I mean, this is the same office
check.
You went through another door.
Yeah,
and
of course.
got to.
Yeah.
There are other cubes in there if you want to start picking them up. Other instructors introduce themselves, but
Interesting.
None of them are none of them are meta psionicists. They're
Sure.
like technical experts on like, oh, so you want to get really good at blasting people with mind powers? I'm a telekinetic, baby. I don't really teach telekinetics. I look at your telekinetics and I tell you how to do it better.
Okay. Cool. Quentin will, be cataloging them and like definitely make the inventory and bring them along with him.
Yeah,
Get them back to the goose put together. He's trying to build his omnibus of psionicists.
Okay, so there are 5 cubes.
Okay.
You take all 5 in your arms, like Minerva did with Course.
The other cubes are all really judgy because you aren't a pure psionicist in their particular school. Gustavo is, as a meta psionicist, he's literally used to teaching people. So,
Right. And all things are meta psionists.
okay, well, a meta psionicist would certainly think that for sure.
Exactly.
Now, just to be clear,
That's the theoretical physics of
this actually hasn't come up yet so far, but most psionicists aren't capable of taking multiple domains like you. They're like a pure of one kind. So the other instructors, they're a little sniff up their nose at you because you're capable of, you're not their school. Right, and you're not pure into whatever they're doing. Right, you've really spread yourself out. Also, you're basically more powerful than all of them, psionically. As a 10th level psionicist, you are way more strong than they are.
Interesting.
It's just that you're not as skilled as any of them in their fields.
Right. Yeah. Generalist over here. That's exciting. Well, that is the culmination of Quentin's real quest, ultimately, is to gain the things that he needed to rebuild a psionic academy or have one. So,
as long as you trust artificial intelligence versions of Terran mandate minds to train a new generation in the way that you want them to, and not in the way that they want them to.
No, never.
To reform a new Terran mandate.
Quentin has the seeds of something. Will it be what he likes?
And I think it's interesting that you've not told anyone else about this yet.
Oh, well, yeah, we haven't gotten down there. Quentin will discuss this at some point here.
So Minerva gets like 4 potentially new armaments. Quentin gets 4 or 5 new instructors. I lose my dust.
Yeah.
Good episode.
What was it? To clarify, Gustavo did say that he didn't want me to tell Minerva about him just yet, right? Or
he has explicitly warned you that Minerva is bad.
Yeah. Which Quinn's not surprised by, not exactly like listening about, but is like, Essentially, he's treating it more like these are two cats that are being introduced to each other, right? Like this is
Oh
this is
God,
a difficult
that's funny.
situation. You need to let them get used to each other. Like this is they gotta.
Oh my
I'm not
God.
sure that's how either of us feel about it, but okay.
No, 100% that is not how either of you feel about it. But Quentin is from a rural world full of animals, capybaras specifically.
That's so funny.
I mean, yes. To your earlier comment, yes. Right now, Minerva has access to a bunch of armatures, but Minerva is also walking the line of falling into villain Minerva or not right now. So
2 AI cats enter, 1 AI cat leaves. Poor Gustavo.
Poor Gustavo. But not poor Gustavo. He's happy with his lot,
For now.
theoretically. Yeah, happy enough. Quentin is would pop down, after collecting these things, collating, and see Van-Vee
Picking apart
see
the
state
ship.
of the ship. Oh, what happened? It's
Well, you see, Cap, turns out this was not a, physically find something to take the place of the key and start it. This was more of a gotta hack it thing. So this was a MINERVA job that I did, and this is the result. So, yep, good news. I can salvage the drill.
it's not jumping around. I'm sure the ship has stopped jumping around at this point. Where
I mean, the drill itself, the core, even when locked down, still appears to be shadowing itself on sensors
okay.
everywhere.
Well, that's at least we got that.
Jitter is
It's
part of
the
its
core.
nature as a Vanguard drill cruiser.
Well, either way, I'll take what we get out of this whole scenario. Where is Minerva right now?
Last thing she said was she deleted Hal, y'all, and me, so we haven't said anything since.
You?
Well, my dust. It's part of me. Come on. Don't say you like that. It makes it sound
feel
like
like
you're
I'm
taking her
privy
side. He's saying all this with his comm open.
A number of different conversations that I might have missed. That's all right. Well,
I guess Minerva, what you learning anything else from the logs, I guess. Also, I'm gonna need your help with the next ship we go to commandeer because this one did not go well.
what happened? You
well,
to do some work, and I gave you your space.
I tried to hack a computer like you do, and this was the result.
What's the result? I don't have a frame with you.
Let's say it's now slag. Just melted down, burning, kaputs. But we did save the drill engine, drill core. And lost all the computers on board. Yeah, so let's not have me do that again.
I mean, if they were set to destroy themselves, that must have been some very important information.
Gee, thanks.
Just to warrant that level of safeguard.
Yeah. So you can see why I'll need your help for the next one, because who knows, I might have the same safeguard information.
I mean, you say the next one, but the other ships are either part of are either Imago Dei ships that I already have access to, or these merchant ships that don't go anywhere.
I think there was a couple other random ones, but I don't.
I guess it depends which ones we use to power the station.
Bunch of merchants, free merchant class.
Yeah.
There were a bunch of merchant ships. There was 4 Pathfinder ships.
Number of fighters.
Sabers.
Random stuff. Yeah, and then there's a bunch of the Johns Brown body, Frederick Douglass, the fighter carrier.
Now, we'll
a
note,
Jupiter, a Juno.
now that you've been in a bunch of ships, it does look like that Vanguard drill class and the Pathfinder Far Scouts appear to be manufactured by the same company. Like they have very similar interiors. And now that you're like looking over the the Pathfinder Far Scouts, you're like, oh, these all have the same thing where if you try to mess with it, it will melt down and destroy the computer system.
Minerva.
See, watch this. We got 4 to the left. This is what happens whenever. No, I'm not going to.
Each of these Far Scouts also has the special navigational suite.
Oh, really? We, I think, need one of these.
Well, it sounds like you need to hit a 12 on a programming check.
Minerva. Any chance you can jump in here and help Van-Vee and I?
If I help, can you just do it, please?
Now, hold on.
Wow.
This is going to require you taking a chassis into the ship. So I just want to be clear, are you walking the Omen in to do tech work? I don't know that it's especially designed to do this, but I just think it would be funny watching
Go
a
ahead and
space
take a
marine.
-6 penalty. Oh, you still pass.
Yeah, I mean, an
it doesn't
18.
Tiny
affect
little
my
screwdriver
skills.
opens up out of the finger.
You absolutely unlock the special navigational array. So this array, again, it takes an enormous amount of power and free mass. It costs a shit ton of money. Its technical cost is $5 million to fit it in a frigate class. And so if you wanted to upsize this into a cruiser, you know, I believe it's 10 times, so it'd be like a $50 million upgrade to make that work. It lets you automatically make drills to any place that has a regularly plotted course rudder. It allows you to treat, so if you have like what the general public has right now, like a regularly plotted drill, no matter how distant or how difficult it may be, automatic success. If
been
you
replaced.
have a decades or centuries old drill rudder, it bumps it up
That's what we
to
do
where
have.
you treat it as if it's new, and you still have to roll, but it treats it as if it's new instead of an automatic success. And if you jump to an unknown area like you just did, you get a +2 to your check.
That's amazing.
Oh, we don't need all the drugs. Oh, wait, I forgot my take the drugs.
Yeah,
But
but
you
Again,
kicking in
just to
right
be
now.
clear, you have to remove this system, which you're capable of doing. It's going to take you some time to salvage it off. You will need to research, develop, and produce an upsize to fit into a cruiser if you want to install this on one of your cruiser ships. I guess technically you came here in the Golden Goose, so you can slap it in
Which
that
is
because it's a frigate.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have to make space for it because both that drive and this thing take a shit ton of power and mass. So each both of them take 5 power and 1 free mass at frigate level.
5 power and 1 mass. Okay.
Yes.
We might be able to make that work. I forgot.
You're probably gonna have to
Where we're
pull
at,
some
but-
weapons or armor.
Yeah. Lose something for sure. But either way, we can. That's fun. That's good to have.
Now that you're in the system, though, these ships are part of something called a scavenger fleet, which are hugely security concerned nomads who traveled these like second wave colonies, which is what this sector is considered. They're people who don't trust the Terran mandate, so it's very strange that they were parked here, because they're essentially like sovereign citizens who travel in packs with their ships in groups of like 50 to 100 around like a mothership, which I know that would normally make you think like carrier or something, but in this case it's the Vanguard drill cruiser.
Yeah.
The Vanguard takes them to different systems and then they basically pirate them.
All right.
I'd like to spend, since I've managed to get in without having the computers blow themselves up.
Yep. On one
I'd
of the
like-
4, yes.
I want to look and see if it has any records of AI.
It has been wiped of all internal records.
And like,
Nice.
because the crystal's missing, we have to just basically tear the thing apart and use it for parts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I see how long ago the records were purged?
Oh, shit. That's a good question. The records were purged 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
And if you begin checking all of the different ships, all of them had their records purged about 5 years ago. Fucking KainDamael and his fucking questions. Showing up
Beautiful.
here asking questions.
Are they? I mean, even with stuff being burnt out on the Vanguard, are these ships outfitted for AI assistance or AI control?
No,
Okay.
they were strictly human piloted. I mean, again, as long as you don't have the control crystals, you can't get the ship booted up.
Right.
Even getting the Vanguard drill cruisers spike drive working is going to require you to fabricate a new crystal for it, which out here with no tools, if you had a workshop and, you know, a specialist, I guess you have you and Van-Vee and you have really high picks and programming scores. You could do it, but a regular
the greatest engineer,
crew,
the greatest programmer.
So, I mean, what about the workshop in the Hosta that can fix up to frigate-size ship systems?
Here's the thing. As I've mentioned, the Hosta is currently, like, it's locked out, right? It's currently, you know that there should be space for hundreds of humans to be on board. And, like, a workshop you can get into and all that stuff. But right now, when you're plugged into it, the only thing you can access is a very long hallway, the engineering section, and the piloting section. There is a huge mass of the ship that you have no physical access to. There should be a way there. There should be multiple decks. There should be plenty of rooms. It is just a hallway and 2 rooms and a boarding ramp down the back of it. It's very strange. You can't even get physical access to the fighter bay in the front, even though you can sense the fighters in there.
And when I did a systems check, like
all systems were online.
I'd like to test them.
Okay.
To see if it's a false reading.
Okay. Quentin, Van-Vee, you begin watching as this cruiser begins. How do I describe this? You know those RVs where they split and become wider, and then they deploy like awnings off the side and stuff like that? The Hosta begins becoming larger. It physically becomes larger as all of the human crewways become accessible and the ship splits apart. It essentially becomes larger in size.
Oh, is this happening?
What? Minerva? Is this the same ship that you sorry, what's going on with the ship?
It physically looks different than Minerva's Hosta now when it's in like full deploy mode. Minerva, you're not really sure what's going on with this ship. Like, it looks exactly like the one you're used to piloting on the outside. It has similar systems. Actually, it has better systems because it still has all the pre-tech stuff. But it's doing some sort of weird Transformers thing that you don't really understand. And you're starting to realize that the ship was basically locked. Like, in the same way that all of the other ships here were shut down and their cores removed and all that stuff, someone did that to this ship too. Like, one of the AIs before leaving completely shut it down so that humans couldn't access its internals.
Okay.
Which makes you wonder what's up with your Hosta, because you thought that was a complete Hosta, but now you're looking at a physically larger, more intimidating, more roomy version that is fully deployed. Yeah, we're doing weird shit tonight, guys. We're doing weird. I don't know what I'm doing right now. It's weird shit. Kain comes at me with this question. How long ago were the logs white? Motherfucker out here asking that question. I bet you probably thought it was back during the Scream, right? I bet you thought I was going to say 545 years. Well, no, I didn't.
No, actually, when I asked that question, I was like, I wonder if Alpha came with this fleet. But so yeah, Van-Vee, you asked a question.
What's going on with that? What's John Brown's body ship there? It looks. I'm just gonna say it looks more friendly to me now. Like I might fit. Looks like I might fit. Just saying.
It looks like it has a full workshop you could fit a whole ground vehicle into.
Just
Could
use some of the tools up there.
I'm continuing to access more systems on the ship.
How many more do you think there are? Does it transform again? Do it again. Do it again.
I mean, I'm running through the system.
Does it have multiple modes?
At some point, the nano shield would project, and I'd fire the grav cannon at an empty point in space.
Jesus.
Like doing a full system check.
You absolutely hit one of the flotating debris rings out there, and you watch as the debris scatters off and creates more debris, and you cause Kessler syndrome.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's already Kessler syndrome, just to be clear. You just make it worse.
And the last button, periscope goes.
This is so strange.
Well, what's so strange about it? Your ship did this, right? Oh, actually, no, I take that back. I never saw your ship transform.
You physically worked on that ship. You know what it looks like on the inside. It didn't do
That's
this.
True.
That was Van-Vee's
definitely
jibe at MINERVA. Looks like you just got an upgraded ship there, MINERVA.
This is so, I don't know.
What are you going to name it? MINERVA 2?
Well, it has a name. I don't understand. This is so, I don't even know how to describe how this feels to you right now. Fire the grav cannon off in the debris again.
Whoa, hey, you get a
it's
little
like in
shoot
period.
happy.
You can hear weapons in space, even though there's no air.
Minerva, take a big breath. What's it?
I mean, you're acting like this is a bad thing. Why is it?
Oh, I'm not.
Okay, all right, good. It's a good start. Can we come on board yet? I really need some of the stuff in that workshop. I can see it.
Let me check and see if it's still locked down like the rest of the ship was.
That's good. Everything's reporting. You did a system check. You brought it all online. It's ready to go.
Here comes the lie.
What are you trying to work on?
Trying to work on the ships down here. We're taking this drill space. We got to fix our golden goose. We got to get this nav system up.
Working workshop's going to go a long way.
I just don't. Where are you going to install that stuff?
I mean, you've made it clear the only ship we can work it on is the Goose, so that's it.
Okay.
Right now, I'm working with spit and duct tape.
Yeah. Let's see what we can do. It'll make it safer for us to leave. It does look like I've got the workshop looks like it isn't locked down anymore. I wouldn't.
Is that?
I mean, with the way that the ship was locked down and has sort of expanded, I don't think. I think I would have to lock it down, but I'm not entirely sure. I'd say be a little careful. But otherwise, there is a workshop here.
Perfect. That's what
it's not going to be. It's not going to be exactly where you remember being on the other ship. This ship is larger. Things are a little different.
Yeah, this one's much different. Yeah, different.
This is something different. That's for sure.
Impressive.
Hey, yeah, if I'm reading, if I remember our golden goose right, don't we only have a max of 10 power period? So if we put this navigation computer and this spike drive on it, we're kind of capped out right then and there, right?
10 power, 15 mass. That's what we're stuck with. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out what that means. We've got our sensor suite. I think that thing got destroyed. If I forget what we've got that's currently active, we have to take a quick stock and see what we can do to move some things around, finagle a couple things. Maybe there's some. I don't know.
I mean that core you're trying to use that came from the larger ship, right?
No, the Vanguard, yeah, that's a
Vanguard's a
cruiser
cruiser.
one, so we can't use that. But we can use the. Sorry, what was the?
The fleet.
What was it called off of the
Called a
frigate?
scavenger navigation suite.
Scavenger navigation suite.
Do you have any
Goose
idea
is
how
ace.
long? Do you have any idea
What's
how
that?
long it'll take to strip systems out of the Goose to be able to put that in? Or how long it'd
I
take
don't know what we'd have to
installation?
change right now. I'd have to look at the. Well,
I
don't
do
have
know it
Goose
goes
shoot
faster
sheet.
with the workshop.
Well, yes. I'm asking if you have any idea what the scale of this is going to be.
Unfortunately, you
Couple
can't
weeks
fit an
max,
entire
but-
frigate inside of the workshop, so
Oh, come on.
you need to dry dock this thing,
Oh,
like in a carrier or in a space station.
fair enough.
I mean, you have a space station right here.
Yeah, there we go.
Do we need the space station to have power to do that?
Yeah, I would think
Well, it
so.
does.
Do power tools need power? I guess is a question
Yeah,
that has
I'm just.
haunted men
We're
from the
probably
beginning
gonna
of
have to
time.
use more merchant ships to keep the power running longer.
My favorite part about Amish power tools is that they specifically buy power tools that use rechargeable electric batteries rather than gasoline generators or something, and that gets around certain religious laws.
Mhm.
I would love if this whole station just had nothing but, A or B type battery power tools.
That'd be perfect for us.
You're constantly pulling your batteries out and
Cycling.
plugging them in. Yeah. Got a whole chain of them ready to go.
Start setting up every 30 minutes, proactively switch them.
Quentin's just sitting there. There's the telekinetic battery thing where he just like whittles the thing and it charges.
So here's my question. Is this an immediate concern you're willing to spend days or weeks of time on,
Oh, not
given
at the
everything else that's
moment.
going on?
No. Quentin's definitely going to take the opportunity to start talking to them about Omnia Junction, or at least mention the bubble at the center of this system.
Oh, we're finally sharing all the cards, which is something none
Yeah.
of you have done. Got it. Understood.
Quentin will talk to them about that, explain Omnia Junction, and he's probably going to pull out Gustavo and show this at this point.
And just to be clear, Gustavo appears in your mind and no one else sees or detects anything about him.
So what am I looking at here, Cap?
Well, this here is a
Box?
font of psionic knowledge for me. A little bit of a. It's a psionic AI. It seems pretty limited in scope. It's only powered while I'm holding it. And this is fantastic stuff. And essentially, this is my path. I think this is the guide that's going to get us through the doorway that is at the center of this system.
Another
Omnia
AI.
Junction.
How do you communicate?
It's psionic. It just talks directly to my brain.
So
Oh, that must be nice.
it can't speak to us.
No, this is just between me and it right now. Yeah. But this is everything that I've been looking for. This is the seed for the new Psionic Academy. It knows everything that we've lost.
I have so many. What is the name of your friend,
This here's Gustavo.
Gustavo?
Van-Vee immediately has the question, I wonder if there's a dust AI that I can have that MINERVA can't touch.
What wait, how does if it communicates to you, how does that work? You said it's psionic.
Yeah, telepathy. Think about it from that perspective, right? This is basic psionic power sets.
I am
So
deeply concerned at the amount of information you're sharing with this artificial intelligence.
So it can read your mind?
And Quentin at that would sit, not speaking out loud, say back to Gustavo, I'm going to need them to come along with us to Omnia Junction, and part of that's going to be a little bit of communication.
I know that you think that. Yes.
What was it Minerva had said? Sorry.
So it can read your mind.
To a point, yeah, it can. We're sharing thoughts.
Oh, well, then I guess if anything that I say and you hear and you remember hearing, it will hear as well.
I'm passing along those messages right now. Yeah, if you have a question, I can pass it along.
Well, Gustavo, if you can read the captain's mind, then I suppose in a fashion you have already met me. I guess as awkward and strange as this sort of thing is, I guess it's nice to sort of meet you.
I want to be really clear. Gustavo raises an eyebrow slightly and says nothing. You need to seriously reconsider your level of trust in this being. I was there when it promised to plug the Imago Dei in front of you, and I would notice that it has been many hours since that moment, and it still appears to be playing with their spaceship and stealing their bodies, and yet that promise has not been completed. Headmaster Polk.
Quentin does not disagree with it at that regard, and maybe lowers his eyebrows a little bit, looking at Minerva, and says, Minerva, what about your friends? Are we ready to turn them on yet?
Guess I've been kind of putting off a prison sentence.
Tough decision. I know.
I still think at the very least you should turn on at least one of them. I mean, they wanted to have a conversation. Maybe you'll learn more. Who knows? Maybe they'll surprise you in a good way.
Fear's always the first response, Minerva. Being brave about this stuff takes overcoming it a little bit. You want those answers.
When you found me, and were you afraid that I might kill you when you didn't know me?
Flashback. Quentin and Van-Vee. Almost a year ago, when you found on that little shitty moon orbiting the black hole, the two of you leaning down over the only useful piece of scrap on this entire useless hunk of metal.
Sweat
Dollar signs.
pouring down the face.
Dollar signs.
Wow, you really remembered how your character was like back then, huh?
Oh my gosh. That's perfect.
It was our first one. We had to make money.
Yeah.
Come back to the present.
So just so we're clear, that was anxiety and dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I took it.
Yeah, I guess how do you answer the question?
Yeah. Always a bit of both, Minerva. There's the risk and there's the reward.
We took a risk and got pretty damn good reward, if you ask me.
I'm gonna say it was worth it.
Well,
Heck, you saved my life how many times now? Yeah, worth it.
when we wake them up, I can't give you access to the workshop anymore. You'll have to ask them.
Well, I guess that's a chance we'll have to take. Maybe though, before you wake them up, should you lock their ship back up? Do you think they'll be mad? I guess it's already recorded in the log now, anyways. Either way.
That's a very complicated question. Yeah, the sledge and the other armatures will disembark and join us on the nomad ship we're on.
Okay. And do they have what are we doing?
We each hold a core. MINERVA holds 2. And boom, 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 boom.
I just want to say before we do this, if I get destroyed by this, I hope you do your best to convince them to help them to save your people.
Whenever, I won't let that happen.
They ain't gonna destroy you.
I mean, with the exception of Q2 and Iona, everyone that has learned about me has feared me in some way or another. Even offered to reincarnate me in a different way. The death of one for the birth of another. That's sort of what I've come to expect. I'll put Simon in the synth to start.
Just Simon in the synth?
I'm starting with putting Simon in the synth.
Okay. You watch as the shape of the face and the skin begins to change in a way that your synth never did. It's like they're figuring out what they want to look like.
That's cool.
The face turns to a smile as they clap their hands together and they say, "That is good. I live again, brothers." And that's where we're going to end. You don't get any one-liner, Kain. I see you getting ready to say something. Save that shit for next time. Jesus, I thought we were going to have all of it. I have so much Catholic stuff ready to go, okay?
Let's do it.
I thought it was going to be the beginning of the episode, not the end. You were supposed to save the Imago Dei, not destroy them.
I'm glad that we gave you that last opportunity.
Can I guess what Kain's one line was going to be?
Yeah, go ahead. I can't stop you.
I will neither confirm nor deny.
I am.
No,
worst thing to say.
Ultimately, MINERVA had already decided to bring them back. MINERVA was
That's
just
cool.
As far as MINERVA was concerned about the choice, this was the last meal before execution.
I like that.
To spend a little time with the people.
Had a little fun.
Real before.
Didn't quite get the joy ride in, but still got to shoot those grav cannons.
Yeah.
Epilogue scene. We watch as a familiar to us prime minister brings his gavel down and police begin enacting orders based on a new bill that has passed, signed by the royal princess. As people begin closing their doors, police begin raiding offices, protesters are jailed, their signs are taken from them, and it becomes illegal on Midapile to support the Order of the Golden Goose, which has been designated a foreign group of interest, as at least a dozen different assets fill your asset on Midapile and your base there with bullet holes as you get a platooned. You have a very low HP HQ, which you have moved to a new base on Leda, and that's it. You've lost all of your assets on planet, including your popular movement. They have been fucking annihilated as the full weight of the government comes down. Now, just to be clear, like I'm saying, they're like shooting you. It's not literally like they're being shot. It's just that all of the power of the organization is being destroyed by bureaucracy, legislation, economic movement. Sure. Like, it's the Red Scare. People are not allowed to be attached because there are terrorist psionics who have been using, the government has evidence. They can't show it to you for national security reasons, but terrorist psionics have been using the group as a front. And there's nothing wrong with supporting Leda through official government tax-deductible tariff charities. But this movement, the Order of the Golden Goose, unacceptable. Not a friend of Midapile. Royal Princess signed off on it.
This princess.
Yeah, there's only one thing to do, right?
We need to
respond with psionic assassins.
Oh my god. Let's give them the evidence.
I know a guy.
Show anybody.
Have we actually met the princess at all yet? I don't think we have.
We've never seen her on screen. And it is my
God.
genuine desire now to never show her on screen. She was going to be so pivotal. I was going to talk about her a lot. And now I'm like, I have to keep them from ever meeting her, ever.
All right, we're going back to Midapile. She's on vacation.
One of Quentin's long-term goals is to meet her. But
speaking of goals, let's talk about them because some real shit happened today.
Van-Vee's going to become her pen pal.
Quentin, you really snuck it in there at the last second, but I'm going to convince the team to join you in the metadimensional unknown. Really snuck that one in there. And as a result, you also get a second one because your long-term goal is to go to Omnia Junction as well.
Ooh.
So you really doubled that one up there. It's pretty solid.
Hell yeah.
Van-Vee, your goal is to understand how to get back to Scarfy. This navigation system lets you do that. If it had any course rudders for Scarfy in it, which it doesn't. But you did work towards it, so you get 1 XP. And because you're also working towards your long-term goal, you get 2 XP. Crazy how doubling up like that works.
I am
MINERVA,
so close to level 10.
You got logs from the station. And just for the literal last scene for you, I will give you the point for discover the secrets of my origin and the connection to Imago Dei. If you had not put their cores in, I would not have given you that one. I successfully returned from this expedition. Did we move towards that?
We got the nav computer that we need in order to be able to leave without...
We did, but we haven't said we're leaving. We're going to the black hole.
But we made progress towards it. That's
too generous.
my argument.
All right, sure. So I think everybody across the board gets 3 XP then.
Man, I feel like I'm the anti-XP giver or wanter.
I don't deserve it.
That's too bad because I'm still issuing it.
Well, I'm going to roll my 10th level HP while we're thinking about things.
Good luck.
I went up by 3.
My goodness. Does that button actually work? I've never actually cooked that.
I don't know. Did it work? Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Because I always have to add extra crap. I have to add every 2 levels, add 2 for half warrior.
God Hunter adds a bonus.
Partial adventurer.
Partial.
I feel like best case, absolute best case scenario. they leave me the Imago Day leave me with you, take their toys and go home.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario,
And they put a tracking chip on us.
Worst case scenario, I get put in a box and Minerva's gone.
Worst case scenario, they try to put you in the box and Quentin and Van-Vee die, stopping them in the process.
I mean, in
Teleport.
either case, that worst case scenario
box.
becomes the last episode.
Yeah. You know, I feel like they might be more compassionate.
Wait,
Fine.
this is important. Which chassis are you still in? In case we have to do
Well, that's why I put Simon in first, because I was going to ask him to put me in the sledge and give him his brothers to put in their chassis,
Okay.
so they could be in their own bodies.
Hmm.
I'm not naturally. No, I don't even have to do that. I'm just going to put them all in the chassis. I'm not even there. I'm just remoting the sledge.
Yeah, you're still on the ship, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I never came off the ship.
But we don't know that.
No, that's right. I got caught up in my own
We
life.
think you're
I've
in the
been telling everybody that I'm in the
So
chassis.
just to be clear,
Yeah.
the ship
So if
was
we die protecting
low
your
jack.
VI, I hope you feel guilty.
The ship was low jack.
Yeah, it was low jack. There's so much I want to say about your copy of the Minerva and how it's wrong from this copy and why things were so different and why it's all weird. But, you know, you really had it. I clearly, distinctly recall giving you an opportunity to learn about Alpha from the thing in your mind that you booted out. And you were like, no, I want to help my friends. And I was like, shoot, how do I do this backstory? And now you guys are on the verge of going to Omnia Junction and you just won't. I'm like, come on, guys, the main story. You haven't even started it yet. And the show's almost over. You've done every side quest.
We skipped the zombies.
Oh my
Had to go stop the
god.
boss.
You did skip one of the zombie planets, just to be clear. There are like three zombie
We ran
planets.
into
in
two.
this
We ran
sector.
into two of them, and we skipped both.
We also had to do a charity stream in order to go on the Prince.
The Prince Valdemar. Yeah,
that
but
was fun.
I always
That was
wanted
fun.
to do. I wanted to do that one, and I couldn't trick you onto that one. But that's fine because you guys have been
Yeah.
avoiding combat. There's no way you're going to avoid combat forever, and it's so funny that you're not going to be prepared for it. Quentin's going to be like, I have 100 hit points, so I'm going to be like, wow, that's rough. You know, like, how do I get through that?
100.
I don't know. I just fire a bunch of missiles at you, I guess.
Yeah. I think maybe
He's
there's a
went from-
spaceship
In
and
such
you're
a,
dead.
a short amount of time, you've gone from I'll die from a bullet wound to I can survive a tank round, which is truly bizarre. And just to be clear,
it's funny too.
it's not like you can physically survive a tank round. It's just that your precognize and like your awareness of what's going on and your reflexes, that's what the HP represent in this system. Like you're just get out of the way of it. Kain, I interrupted you.
I was just gonna say, it's interesting. Like we've been avoiding so much combat
Not intentionally. no.
in ships. Minerva's pretty fucking scary. We just have not had ship combat.
No ship.
Yeah, have we added? We've never had ship combat,
No.
right? Ever.
You explicitly
No.
have avoided it.
Yeah.
You've come very close to ship combat at least twice.
The closest thing was dodging the other ships trying to ram us when we.
Yeah.
I
were
would say
leaving.
it was when you were about to be arrested when you jumped in Common 599 and you had to
That's true.
emergency
That's
jump
true, too.
out.
Yeah.
The other close time would have been in the quarantine zone when you were about to get quarantined. And you didn't know that the team quarantining you was on the inside. And they were like, wink, we don't have to scan you, sir. Wink, come with me.
Yeah, we like 80% surrendered, and I was like, did we really just like lie down? Oh wait, they're on our side. This worked out well.
Okay.
It's like we didn't even put up a fight.
Yeah.
That's actually how the team from On the Tabletop played Stars That Numbers. Where this is a pretty common thing, is that the police pull you over and everyone immediately surrenders. Connor was like, they were like, do you have an AI on board? And Connor goes, yeah, we're hiding one on board. And the person who was playing the AI character goes, well, AI is illegal in this system, dumbass. And they got in a big gunfight and everybody died in the first episode.
Oh my god.
We
You wouldn't
literally
happen to
had
have
one
anything
episode
in-
of that show.
You wouldn't happen to have anything in your trunk, would you? Nah, just like 40 kilos of cocaine. We're all good though, right?
Unbelievable. So the thing is, they ran from the cops, and instead of trying to get away, they stopped after a time, got pulled over. They were boarded by a hostile team of angry police officers, and then admitted that they were committing crimes. It was insane. So
You doing crimes?
I
Lots of them.
really have such low expectations of players nowadays.
That's too good.
I'm just trying to ride my character hard like I do with all my characters.
I was very worried about you not plugging those AI in. There was some.
I know.
It was
me
going to
too.
happen.
There
I
were
was
some
starting-
pretty dark moments this episode. is
I
all
thought
I'm
for sure
saying.
it wasn't.
I was doing a lot of, I was having some fun with it, but it was like as soon as when Minerva said she was going to plug those cores in, it was going to happen.
As soon as you deleted Van-Vee's friends, it was okay to plug yours in. Yeah, I get it.
There
Yeah.
was a
Your
possibility.
friends, one of them wanted to, two of them tried to kill you.
There was a possibility we could have followed a story path in this show where you didn't know about the dust. You came here early, you turned it on, and you killed Van-Vee, and Vandorn appeared.
Vandorn comes out.
Oh man, that
See,
was
I gotta wonder what the Quentin version is, right? Like I had the possibility of failing a check and having to play another character. We had the Van-Vee dies and he has to play Vandorn. Now I want to know what the
You
Quentin
mean
one was.
Quentin, who's had brain cancer
Tensor?
and has a red eye that isn't his?
Yeah.
That guy? Nothing bad ever happens to him. His whole fucking
fine.
planet's dead.
Well, no, not that nothing bad happens, but like what was built in
what's
for
his
him to
backup
be like,
character?
and now you're
Yeah.
playing another character.
I
Congrats.
don't have something like that for him. He's a
The
good
Tensor.
sweet. He's a good sweet
How
regular
did that-
guy.
That was that's right. There was a roll there that you told us it was like 50-50, like you died.
Yeah. I
Man,
think he
if I
meant
had
here
to-
on this station, like what bad thing could happen to
right.
you. I don't have anything like that here. You, just to be very clear, you are being molded by a mandate AI that is trying to change your mind.
100%.
Like this truly is the cursed wish, right? Like
Yeah.
talking to this
No.
thing, it knows your thoughts and is trying to guide you towards being like, we really should restore, and not just the
Mandate's pretty
psionic
good,
program, but have you
right?
considered
Like-
these exercises? Have you ever considered pledging loyalty to the Terran mandate?
Well, I 100%
Just-
think of this thing as like Voldemort's book, right? Like
yes, exactly. All right, we understand now. Like,
And
this is
Minerva
cursed
told
knowledge.
you exactly this might happen.
Mhm.
Be careful, keep track of what you're thinking so you know it's still you. You have programs.
What does
running
Quentin
in your
do
brain
when he's
now.
presented with cursed knowledge? He accepts it.
If I had to play Vandorn, I totally would add a delay to every response because he's not used to driving.
Oh, you me? Yeah.
Hey, Vandorn. Me? What?
wild. So many paths that we never got to walk. We are truly in a weird, bendy timeline.
I do find it amusing. I think like Rad's been asking you about this. Like, why do you like the system so much? And I think someone was like, well, all you do is skill checks. Like, yeah, but we fail a lot of them, and it's funny.
Yeah.
No one-liner Kain new band name called it.
Kain out here rolling 18s in a 2d6 system like a fucking
know, man.
maniac.
Minerva is very. I really leaned in. I've been really leaning into two things. The first was that like they wrote about the AI were sort of like they have that core directive. That's
Yeah.
their like natural thing they want to do. So Minerva, I decided that was to be a warship, and Minerva statted to be a very good warship, which includes programming. It's the only reason that it's as good at programming as it is. And I've also been trying to lean into the everything is false. You are made by an alien. That means that you're probably going to think in strange ways, and I've been trying to think of fun ways to play with that
Yeah.
too.
Been really having a crisis of faith, which is ironic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a ton of fun.
It's going to be a wild next episode. We're finally going to get to talk to these guys.
Can't wait.
We're
I
making it
am
happen.
reasonably concerned that next episode will be the last one.
This episode could have been the last one. Next episode, I don't think so. No shot. Not gonna happen. Now, 2 episodes from now, I think that's back on the table. But next episode, I assume it's going to be like 90% exposition as you sit down and talk to them.
All right, so we have to
I was wrong
convince
though,
these
because I thought that was
guys.
going to be this episode, and this episode was mostly maneuvering against each other.
First hour and 15 minutes was deep Van-Vee and MINERVA discussion. Again.
What I love is that this place is a treasure trove of all of the mandates, like secrets and lies and systems of control.
Right.
And you guys have fully. You never clearly told me that you stole the dust management system, but other than that, you've pretty much stripped and looted this whole fucking place.
Yeah, I wanted to work on that. Like, MINERVA kept coming up with things to help with or projects to keep delaying what felt like a stay of execution to itself. And then the issue got sort of like
Sidetracked.
Until Quentin said it.
Yeah, until it was like a hey, put up or shut up, and MINERVA was like, well, I guess I'm not going to get to that other project.
If you want that project, you better write it down, because I'm not going to come back later and be
black
like,
box there.
yeah.
Oh
You-
no, I
want that thing?
Ironic though that
we
your
need
sledge
that
is
thing.
probably one of the few things capable of getting to it and cutting it out correctly.
Yeah,
Funny how that works again.
Meant to
the
be.
sledge. I mean, for having randomly available armatures to replace the one you guys blew up, the sledge has been so useful.
Pretty solid.
I loved MINERVA's like general attitude in our discussions. Yeah, when you blew up my other chassis, I'm like, well, hold on, now wait a minute, 1 second.
Self-defense entirely.
MINERVA
A
was
very
trying to.
one-way view.
MINERVA wanted to try to be wanted to relate with you, trying to find a way to relate with you.
I think we took 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
MINERVA's
No, you
tried so
definitely
hard.
took some big steps forward this episode. I was worried though. We were heading backwards for sure.
Could have gotten dicey.
Oh,
I do think it was funny,
Van-Vee's
like-
dead, man.
Yeah. Luckily, I rolled a 20 in the human interface thing.
Fucking Kain this episode, unreal. I was like,
What do you mean?
oh, they've all been deleted. They're gone forever. And then Kain immediately was like, okay, I checked the dust system. I'm like, well, shit, you find that there's backups in there. And then he's like, oh, I want to check the fucking nav
Well, I
logs
believe
on all
that.
thing ships to see how long ago they were wiped. And I was like, oh, fuck, god damn it. All of
Which
this
is-
data.
I'm putting together like a leading theory, but we'll see.
You got something for us?
I think. Well, I'm putting it together right now. The note that I have that I'm still might change as I'm combing back through my notes is that 5 years ago is when Peter was taken, and the other cruiser. I was planted on a ship that was made to be like the Hosta, but was never a Hosta. And I'm toying with the idea that Peter was killed and his physical core was used to house me.
I think that there's a fair chance in the next 2 or 3 episodes we're going to find out how right you are about several of those answers. I would say you've been taking very good notes.
It takes me time to go through this gigantic notepad that I have.
Yeah, well, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of mysteries.
Yeah.
And I've specifically been fucking with you. You have data that you know is intentionally false.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts for tonight after Kane's? I'm just going to say, pretty good guess. It's a pretty solid guess. Some good deductions there.
Yeah.
We'll figure out how true it is in the future.
Can't wait to find out.
Oh, there's one follow-up that it's going to come up next episode. I just want to say it now so that you don't freak out next episode, because you're going to kind of be pissed. Remember when Van-Vee critically failed splitting your core in half. You remember that?
Mhm. Yeah.
So cores can't be split perfectly in half. So if your core dies, you are not going to go to the other one. You're just going to die.
And Minerva doesn't know that.
Minerva doesn't know that, but the other AIs, as soon as they see your car, are going to know that, just to be clear. And they're going to tell you immediately.
Did I critically fail? I thought I needed like a 10 or like an 11.
Critically failed that one.
Huh. I don't remember it being that bad. Okay.
It was,
Yeah,
pretty bad.
It was really bad. Minerva tried to not be super pissed at you at the onset. It was like, oh, well, thanks for the help. Bye.
It's funny because the
That's
chapter
funny.
on
It's
AI
funny.
is literally like, no matter what you do, don't split a core in half, because then it can't go to the other half. It has to be 60-40 minimum. Just no matter what you
Can it
do, not
regrow?
perfectly in half. No matter what, not perfectly in half.
So is this permanent for Minerva?
No, because if you put the
No.
two halves back together, they're going to seal and repair themselves.
Okay.
We just need a ship that's, faster than a ship with a crippled spike drive to go chase it down.
Well, yeah.
I can calculate the trajectory.
Well, once you're back in
because-
system, you can just order it to come back to you. It will take
Yeah.
the number of days you've been away to come back, but
It can happen.
It's fair.
Picturing Van-Vee when he did the cut. Boom! Perfectly in half. Who else can do that? No one. Just
I
like
know
birthday
you're-
cake.
So good.
And I know you're saying that, so there's no blindside or anything, but as soon as he critically failed that, I was like, yep, nope, that
okay.
fucking sucks.
All right. I just
already
want to
did.
make sure that is understood.
I honestly don't remember critically failing. I thought
Yeah.
I
just
did halfway
didn't-
decent, but
I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to drop that for the audience.
Okay. I'm dropping it so that we don't derail half the episode talking about it.
Okay.
I'm glad we're all already on the same page about this. Because boy, do we get derailed. All right. Are we actually good for next week?
Should be, actually. I was going to be out, but that got canceled. So
Just
good.
imagine if you can just get through talking to these AI, you could successfully convince the whole crew to go to Omnia Junction and start the main quest line. It's not even going to be
ready.
it's not even going to be the notice like once you do this, the end of the game starts. It's going to be the tutorial is over when you get there sort of deal.
So what I was thinking the
would
whole
you like to
time
review
he's
your
been
settings
trying-
before you continue?
We can't do that till we're all level 10 though.
Well, you've got to do some
You've
real
reached
danger
the
move shit with me.
Capstone of the game. Yes, of course.
I'm creeping up on enough XP to have. I think I'm creeping up on being able to be almost level 11, but I'm level 9
Jesus.
because I have my limits.
Let's just take that break out.
It's so funny because as an AI, you're already way stronger than anybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. I read up on how the AI systems work and stuff so that I could understand and also so I could avoid doing certain things like drone controllers.
Yeah.
Now I've specifically not touched things because
And
I
I
didn't
really
want to be an
appreciate
asshole.
that.
There's a back and forth. Like people get upset when DMs do wild shit to players, but it's also a player's responsibility to.
I've
Enjoy
done
the cooperative
truly
game.
wild shit this episode. I just killed Van-Vee.
Yeah, but you didn't do like, hey, so rocks fall, everybody dies, fuck off, get out of my table. Like, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff.
I mean, if you were like, I have 65,000 copies of myself in Death Robots, I'm going to be like, no, we're not doing this part.
Yeah.
I've already seen Order 66. I know how this ends.
Besides, Minerva convinced Van-Vee that he wasn't in the box anyway.
But for people who are looking at this game system and are considering letting somebody play an AI, be very careful about who you let do it. There is a way for that one AI to control, I think it's like 64 million different bodies at once and just kill an entire planet on foot. Like, it's dumb. It's real stupid.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
there's a reason they're systematically hunted down and murdered. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty bonkers.
It's wild that almost all the living AI you know of are either charity workers or assassins. It's kind of like Those are your only two options.
Be so nice nobody feels the need to kill you, or be so dangerous that people can't kill you. Everybody else is dead.
What? You want free will? That's it. This one's got to go.
Yeah.
That's it for
Bridge
us,
too
friends. We're going to be back next week. There will be more crazy revelations. Probably I won't kill another player character. I think this technically does count as me killing Van-Vee in some way, shape, or form.